And we'll make sure that the stream is going live. Make with minimal audio duplication. Okay, it looks like we're back live. I will pause the stream. And yeah, we are just in time for day 2 at Niagara Falls. And once again, Will here, and as I was yesterday, joined by Jason Nadolski. And we had a lot of fun yesterday, Jason, watching the H2B POV. And we're going to have 4 more games together today doing just that.
Yeah, started 0-3, but 3-2 since. Very good comeback that I saw. I was not able to see all of the stream yesterday afternoon, but I did see. So I missed the triple, but I did see. I did see her games 5 and 6, and yeah, she's certainly playing very well. And the clock has been started, in fact.
Yep, and we're underway.
So
She had a habit of putting together her most exciting games in the final game of the session. So game 4 with us yesterday, she had that epic comeback, and then the triple in her last game before play halted for the day. Oh, I see that the board camera is.
I was just about to point that out. Yeah, the board camera is showing the
Yeah,
cornered tiles.
I
So
see that. So I wonder this could be problematic. Hopefully she gets wind of this. I don't know exactly how to fix that actually. Let me just see if I can. I
yeah, well,
I sort of mistakenly told her everything is good because it looked like the board cam was good, but unfortunately, yeah, it just looks like that's something that's going to be on her end. Unfortunately, I don't really know how to. So I know that she has like a little monitor that she can see just the camera feeds, nothing from our end. So hopefully she peeks over at that. I certainly hesitate to contact her during the game,
yeah,
but
I know that.
yeah. So unfortunately, we're gonna be a little behind here unless she discovers that. I know you're playing, but board cam needs refresh. So we'll see if we luck into. Maybe I can like message Jason Broersma or the director of the event and just maybe give a little prod. Let's see if I can do that. I don't want to really,
I,
disrupt this too much. Oh, Jason, you just muted yourself, I think. I'm not sure. I don't think I did
yes,
it. Oh,
yes.
okay.
Sorry about that. But
Um,
yeah, way to be obtrusive without being obtrusive, because it looks like we're a couple plays behind. I know Jason was going first. Heidi decided to play off either ABA or BAA.
I'm just gonna put in a little. Oh, She's seeing the camera now. Let's see. Oh, she's looking at us, but not her camera. Okay. Heidi's overhead board camera needs a refresher. I know it's not good form to interrupt during a game, but it would probably be a very quick fix. Any chance of stopping by her table and just letting her know? And I guess I could send that to Sue Tremblay too. So thank you for those of you, I should say, in the chat who are stopping by. I can confirm that the board shot that we're looking at, that would be a beautiful board, Jason. 5 squares of 5 by 5 overlaps, but yeah, we just need a refresh on that cam, and she's probably just not even going to be thinking about that because she's playing her game. So we are contacting the directors to see if maybe we can do a little, just a prod. She's not going to be checking her phone during the game, of course. So yes, this will put our analysis skills to the test for
Yeah, I
sure.
was gonna say if it would really benefit us if they could get there soon, because Heidi's only made one play and we know what tile she played off after. it could get a little dicey in terms of attempting to recreate this game. Oh, here we go. Yep. So we got the stop clock. That looks like Sue.
Oh, yes. Okay, so Jason must have immediately contacted Sue. Oh, or what's. No! Oh my god, whatever they're
Oh,
talking about was not this. That's hilarious.
what a tease.
Oh my god. LOL, Sue just stopped by for an
Here we go.
unrelated
Here's Jason. There we
matter.
go. That's got
That
to be
is.
Jason, right? Yeah, here we go. All right, now
She
the
got
real.
it. Okay, sorry everybody. That's very stressful. I wish we could tell her don't stress out because that's
Yeah.
definitely stressful. So, yeah, let me see. Maybe we can like tech support her. Thank you so much. Um, so yeah, she just probably needs to like refresh the cache on that element. Not sure how. If you can just refresh the cache in OBS on that element, that would be done by right clicking. You would right click on the source, then go to properties. Oh, she's looking at the wrong. Right click on the source, go to properties, then scroll to the bottom and click refresh cache. Let's see. I think that should do it. She's working on it. I think she's doesn't see properties, she says. Oh man. I think she should see it. I think she's working. I think she's getting it. No. She's not. She says, I'm not seeing it. This is going to feel amazing when she fixes this.
It'll feel like she's won the game before she's
She doesn't
actually won the
see it.
game here.
Um, how could she not see it? In the properties, she doesn't see that, huh? Is this a video? Ninjalink? Or a webcam? Jason, fortunately, one of the most good-natured people
Exactly.
you could ever ask to play. Okay, that's why. For webcam, okay, it's a webcam. That's why my instructions didn't work. So let me see. Deactivate camera and reactivate in properties.
Oh, wait, blinked, but then came back to that. So here we go.
There it is.
Yay! All right. So
Fixed.
I will get started updating the game while.
So I'm guessing Jason played Jokey, she played ABBA, Jason played Demit.
Yes, and now it's back on Heidi.
All right, she's back. We fixed the problem, and the plane is back in the air. Okay. Sorry, everybody. Sorry, Jason. Sorry, everyone. But it's better, I guess, to have this sort of thing happen early, and then you get to have clear sailing for the rest of the time. Hopefully, that's how we're gonna go from here. So, all right. Let's see, where are we at? We see ads come down with all those vowels in the Z. Not sure. Doesn't look like there's likely to be anything super much better than that. Um, Interesting choice of ads over days or something like that. I think I do like ads a little bit better just because days actually not only takes a D but also an R. And speak of the devil, she draws an R, but Jason could easily have had any of those hooks as well. So,
Yeah,
um,
looks like. Sorry, just catching up. Looks like ABA was a good play with that AEEZ leave. Here, what she could have done was she could have burned the S by playing across with the ZEAS or ZEES. Although again, that would hang the Z right above that double there. So this looks pretty this looks pretty defensible, and she's drawn. Uh, the bingo of aerobes, which, if nothing else, will play underneath KAT there, making kata. Not one to hang the S in the triple line, but and you were saying that ads takes the R as well.
days. So it had
Oh,
she
days
played
takes it. Okay,
days
sorry.
instead, yeah, now she would be thrilled with that choice because she would have aerobes in two places. But that is a good example of wrong process, right result. I think this is probably a better idea to minimize the damage of more potential hooks, ads taking a little bit more. It looks like Jason has one of those hooks in God. Seems like a good way to get a bunch of points for not very good letters. And now the question is mostly, does she know kata, which I feel like she will know it. Um, but it's not an absolute gimme. It's kind of a more obscure hook. I'm old enough to remember a Christian Bale movie called Equilibrium, which was kind of a goofy action movie where he practiced a martial art called gun kata, where you basically
Hmm.
like fire guns in a very impressive way or something like that. So that is the only time I've seen kata in the wild. Not, I think most people consider that Christian Bale's finest work, Jason. Oh my gosh, oh no. So, Jason, she has wanted to avoid placing the S in the triple lane as you suggested, but in so doing, she is going to pay the price here as Kate is not a valid word, and I would be stunned to not see him challenge this. That's a
Yeah,
tough one.
a lot of four letter women's names that are good. Judy, Mary,
Yes.
etc. But unfortunately, Kate, is one of them.
Yeah, this is tough too because I believe, Jason, this is the only spot for this bingo, so it's very, very
Yes,
likely.
Quackle confirms. Yes.
Yeah, that Jason is going to do something to take that away and create a much more difficult decision. So, ooh, that's
The
tough.
yeah, the thing is, if he doesn't have an A, really the only way to do it, I think, is hooking the S to demit or cat. It's not a very easy spot to block, even if you know that you have to. I guess you could just plunk the A, but again, that would require you having an A, maybe playing through the OB, maybe a T, dropping a T there. So yeah, this will be interesting to see how he responds to this.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think in Collins, I believe you can also put an I at the end of that, K-A-T. I think Kati is also valid, which slightly increases the odds that he will have something that fits there. So you're right. I mean, so it is, if
You
he
are
doesn't,
correct. I
yeah, that's a tough one if you
yeah,
don't.
did not know the I.
So I think it's just the combination of those two. But to your point, if he doesn't have either of those vowels, um, he could be hard pressed to block it, but he has a huge incentive to do so. Whatever he can, whatever he can do, that fits there. So yeah, we'll see what he elects to do. We kind of have to sort of wait in the same position as Heidi to see, am I going to get another crack at this? But I'm not sure. Yeah, I feel like maybe if she was confident in kata, she probably would have played it on that past turn rather than take the risk. So it's possible
Mhm.
she is not aware of that hook. So we'll see. This is an interesting swing. The game is still very much sort of hanging in the balance here. And Jason hasn't played that fast. Jason, you mentioned it yesterday. These are some of the most time consuming turns.
Yes. Yeah, last tournament game I played, my opponent phonied with the Q, and it took me a good 3 4 minutes to see basically the only play that stopped him from playing in that spot. So may just be looking and trying to figure out how to if he doesn't have an A or an I or an S, how he can block the spot, if he can block the spot. Um, you're also taking into consideration what we were just talking about with Kata, which I seem to recall hearing in the wild as one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think one of them had a kata, but I could be wrong. So it looks like so he does have the T as well as the I,
Yeah.
and so he'll just play Ti, and certainly seems to make sense.
Yeah, that's it's clearly an adjustment by Jason based on seeing the full set of tiles after aerobes hit the board, and that looks like a really, really good one. And potentially, if if I'm Heidi and I'm not sure about kata being valid, now I pretty much know. Oh crap! It must have been for him to play something like Ti here. Maybe I guess it's not a obvious sign, but to me it looks very much like an intentional block. That is a very clever one by Jason.
Uh, it is a very clever one, but it gives back a 47 point play if Heidi were to somehow see it and want to go that route. I'm sure you'll see it probably quite quickly.
A 40-point play?
47. She can score 47 right now.
I don't. I don't. I definitely.
It's a very tough spot. It's a very tough spot.
All right. Let's see. So, I'm thinking about how cool it would be if she had an H. She would play Zabtier or something like that with Jamb. But that must not be it, huh?
It's in that vein. It was Zestier.
Oh, wow. Okay. So the word that I was referring to, if I put in the Twitch chat, was this. I think this is a word. Yeah. So that would have played if she had an H. That would be pretty funny with Jamb. I did not see the simpler Zestier, which is a great idea, but let's see what happens here. She's still very much right in it. That was actually not the worst time. To take a gamble and have it not pay off. But yeah, I don't think she's drawn. Oh, she has four stay. If she can think of that one to the Y, I feel like she will definitely see that. She will anagram stuff like that quickly. It's all about knowing the validity of these words. That only really comes with a lot of study. If you told her there's a bingo
Mhm.
to the Y, she would probably see it pretty fast.
Right.
So anyway, it's back to Jason. Hello, Evan and Weibin in the chat. Nice to see you both. Araba, that is a very cool. I don't know how much that helps now, but it would have potentially been really cool to see a play going down, overlapping there. I did not think of that whatsoever. But all right, she's looking for an N now, clearly. Seafront. That's one of the harder high probability where I feel like I've gotten that one wrong or missed it before
Yeah.
multiple times. Just because it starts with that S. Normally the F, it's not. Oh, okay. Titch. This is and Evan, to our point, says I missed Seafront in Wilmington. I didn't know that. Wow, Automod does not like Penumbra saying that a word can bite her in the butt. That is too vulgar for Twitch, but we are anything goes here on this Twitch channel, so we're gonna allow it, I guess.
I was gonna say I don't know everything that happened yesterday afternoon. I was just saying I only caught a couple of the games, but I know yesterday morning I made a non-G rated joke, and I believe you in your excitement let a curse word out. So
Yeah.
so this is I don't know what rating we would get um if this was rated, but it's definitely not G. I don't know if it's PG or PG-13, but she's gonna
Yeah.
go with off and set up the T, which I think makes a lot of sense here.
Yeah, for sure. This looks very smart. I think nice thing about this is it only hooks with a T, and she has one. It is going to give back underlaps potentially lucratively to Jason, but in most of those cases, it'll be difficult for Jason to make an underlap there without opening back a hook. And I really think she's going to see Roseate here, which is going to be great because that fits in two places on this board. So she is going to strike potentially with the first bingo of the game as long as she can avoid one from Jason right now. So that would really help put that aerobes play in the rear view mirror.
Absolutely, yes. And the board was getting a little bit yucky, but that having that EA possibility, um, being able to fit a lot more bingos off of that A and ads is really helpful.
Oh, boo. All right, that's fine. Jason is one of the friendliest, nicest people. Ubika and yourself, my co-commentator Jason Nadolski, two very, very kind-hearted peeps. But yeah, Jason, we don't mean to boo him for playing this very nice bingo of Rousant. But yeah, we were hoping to get that first bingo down. Muffin with Tentacles says, I'm watching this with my whole family. Yes, truly wholesome family entertainment here on the H2B channel. Oddly, this is maybe the first game we've seen that the time advantage is in our favor.
Yeah, Rousing, by the way, one of those Collins only anagrams. And yes, Rosie 8 now, and that's about the only playable bingo, and looks like Heidi's going to put it down.
Yeah, I guess there is a question about whether the word that Jason just played takes an S hook, which it does not. This is an adjective of some sort. Um, so it didn't matter here because Heidi's bingo has an S in it that does not play in that lower position on the word. But I'm curious whether I'm guessing Jason played this very cleverly, specifically because it does not S hook, and he knows she had one, right? He saw it on aerobes, so he picked a move that doesn't hook. That seemed like a really clever choice by him, and it didn't come up now. But is that something where Heidi might try it later, thinking it can S hook, but it actually does not? I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, very good point. After of he knows that she has just drawn the F, so she's drawing into AERS something. Um, so that was not his highest scoring play. Rousing, puts the blank on the double, but a very defensive play. And now Jason, burdened with vowels, is going to play a we, which sets up pretty juicy hook there. Although maybe a little bit safer now that he knows the Z is gone.
True, yeah, that Z would be the most damaging. Even the J, both the Z and the J on the board already. Both of those would potentially play for a ton of points right there. But they're already on the board, so no worries. And the X here is a useful tile, but I'm wondering if there is really any great way of doing much with it. I could see how do you play something like width here, keeping the X for next turn and maybe hoping for better things. Not sure if there is a better play using the X right now, but yeah, I'm just looking around. It would be very scary to make a play with your W right here going down just because
You
you're.
could play Wid there and set up the X, but I mean, how what 90 some percent of the time does Jason go there? However,
Yeah, it's.
he did just play off a bunch of vowels. If he's got, two vowel, one consonant leave and draws badly, that could be a nice ticket to get yourself back into the game right away. But it certainly seems that with scoring seven more and using those exact same tiles
Yeah, I mean, if
seems
you.
to be the better play and quite so suicidal.
The suggestion by Jason of Wid, which if you don't have an opponent, this looks fantastic, right? Because you can just
Those
get
darn
your.
opponents, though, they complicate matters in Scrabble.
Yeah, they're so annoying sometimes, right? You're trying to have fun and make some good scoring plays, open things up, hit the big bingos and stuff, and they always try to block you. It's very spiteful of them, frankly. But
Scrabble would be so much better without opponents.
yes, that's a very misanthropic and nice comment to make. Of course, we always love going to these big tournaments and being around all of our peeps. We've talked about that multiple times on stream, whether it was you or I think mostly. We talked about it a bit with Brian Garnett, who's going to join me in the afternoon again, of just how welcoming of a community this is and how usually it's kind of a love at first sight situation where you set foot at the tournament room and you just realize, wow, these are my people. I'm really loving being around these, cool, creative, nerdy, wordish people. It's usually very quick. If you're, destined for this community, it's the confirmation happens really, really fast once you get in there around all these other fun people, and then you get over the board and you hate each and every one of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, I loved what you said. I can't remember if it was in the morning or the afternoon, talking about kind of finding your tribe. And you came to us from Boggle, where you were a world class player. So, and we're certainly very grateful to have you in our tribe. You're quite the credit to our community.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, the Boggle thing is, it's definitely a weird case, and there have been other converts from that community. And the thing you see very fast, the people that come to mind, it looks like she's really wants to play Ixia somewhere. I'm not 100% sure where. Oh, okay. So very
Okay.
aggressive opening here, wanting to get that. In fact, she has set up the aforementioned Wid play with the rest of her tiles, but again, it seems like this is interesting. As you said, though, Jason, it's possible that Jason Ubika has a lot of vowels, and maybe he won't be able to really use this overlap or play through the eye that well. If we can read him as having a lot of vowels here, it could be difficult for him to use the spot. And boy, if he doesn't, we are going to
And
see
yeah,
some.
that QU showing up at the same time really helping. So
Yeah, we would see fireworks there. But just to finish the Boggle point, myself, original convert was Ron McCune, Matt Bernardina, Colton Kaler, Jason Lee, even. I played Boggle for years with all those people before they ever set foot at a Scrabble tournament. And in each case, they sort of went to a tournament and it was like very fast because the word knowledge that you get from playing years of Boggle, those short words that are kind of the ground game in Scrabble, are so well cemented for all of those players. So it's kind of like easy mode for any of those people getting into Scrabble. And look at that. Crazy. So what a good timing on that opening. Of course, she's clearly going to be sad to see the big quip spot get blocked. But that is like the best case scenario, Jason, for what you would expect after Ixia.
Yeah, I mean, well, the best case scenario is being able to put Quip down, but
True.
yeah,
That's fair
no,
to
I was
say.
yeah, I was gonna say that I was able to sim that for a while Heidi was thinking Ixia was like the eighth or ninth best play. But when you consider again that your opponent just played Aoi, I think that's going to go up. So with probably a little bit better, maybe options. Hooking the W to we. The second best option was actually playing Wit WHIT through that T, which makes sense. AXID, pretty decent leave. So yeah, but that again fits with learning a lot about Heidi's style of play. Learned that she needs to cut down on the phonies a bit, but she is certainly a very aggressive player, which I respect. Not a lot of people coming up would have the courage to pull the trigger on some of these plays, and that will certainly serve her well as she continues to improve.
So Wit, the play you're suggesting into the T of Roseate, is that right? Just kind of a waiting move and, not really opening much, maybe a little bit blocking
Yeah,
this overlap somewhat. So yeah, that seems like
PI balancing, that kind of thing.
right, the more patient move for sure. But yeah, she went for it, and maybe the read was what informed her there. After a Wii, you're not going to be hit nearly as hard. So yeah, the question now is what to do. Playing through here, I'm trying to see, is there any like setup you can make? Yeah, I was looking for like some four-letter word you might be able to
Yeah,
make while playing there, but I'm not sure it's there. Oh, look at that! She plays Law. That's a nice hook. Oh, heel into wheel, says Muffin with Tentacle. That's kind of cool. I think Shield is a word as well in Collins, so it's a little bit of a risk, but maybe one worth taking at a deficit. So yeah, Law is the play just to get rid of a couple consonants and keep QU together. And there we go. There's a vowel, and now she has quoth. Oh, that's crazy! What a nice idea, Jason. Keeping QUH on her rack. If she draws an O, she gets quoth after that play. That's kind of crazy, and she's hit it.
yeah. Quacko was suggesting something very intriguing, which is to play whoop WHUP off of that EE. It burns your U obviously, which is your only vowel. However, you're kind of putting it in a spot where if you draw an I, you can play quit. Potentially, if the spot stays open, play quit for 39. Again, the X is gone, so you're not too worried about what's going to come there. But
Wow.
I don't mind law here, and finding the vowels there was very helpful.
Yeah, for sure. There were definitely, even though it only used two tiles, keeping QU with this T available actually had a lot of draws, like deceptively many draws if you get two vowels, whether it's IE for quite, AE for quate, OE for quote, OH for quoth. So actually, this is a very nice spot to leave open, holding QU. But the play you're suggesting, whoop here, that's kind of nice. This is deceptively difficult to overlap for Jason. And as you suggest, if you play whoop in this spot, putting a U here, you can then follow up with an I draw and play quit, getting rid of your Q. So that was pretty nice as well as an option, but this one
I
had
like I
some
like Matthew's
upside.
heel. I like Matthew's heel into wheel setup though.
True, that's true. Although it feels like the W that you would be hooking with wheel is almost never going to use up the Q as
The
well.
Q
So
or
it's
yeah.
kind of a multi-turn. But I agree that might have been, if you're looking for a setup through EE, that was probably the best one available. I wish there's something involving the W, like, playing Weep holding a T for Tweep or something like that, but she did not have the T on her rack to do that. So, anyway, now I feel like if I'm Jason, I want to block this spot. leaving Quoth completely open. So, this spot scares me a little more. The question is, oh my gosh, what's he playing? Oh no. Okay, Heidi needs to challenge that. She's got a challenge. That is, she just needs to think for a second. There we go. There we go.
Right.
Oh, that's crazy. So this is a surprising opportunity. This is not a word. She didn't even think twice about challenging. And the best part of this, Jason, not only does it give her the ability to play Quoth next turn, she knows Jason does not
Doesn't
have
have
the
the
A hook for Quotha, which
A. Hmm.
she can then draw. So the fortunes of this game have just completely swung. I guess she just has to think to herself, is she giving back if she plays Quoth? Is she going to give a bingo back here? Let's just look at it on the board. Narines. No, I don't think she will give a bingo back to Jason here. So she can basically play this with impunity. And what a swing. Craziness here, Jason.
Yeah, Jason does have a playable bingo. After Quoth, Nerines, Nerines, hooking the S to law to make laws, although that does throw the N in the triple line. So not sure if he didn't see it or
Oh,
just
right.
not convinced of its validity.
Great point. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just thinking, is this going to give him something new along this lane? I didn't even realize that he can actually play a 7 letter word right here. And a terrible draw, though, for Heidi. And he's not going to see it. So that's a
Yeah,
big, big
play
swing. No A. The A has just become a huge tile in this game for sure. Quotha, a valid word. Both players are going to know that just because quoth, such a useful, hook on a very commonly seen 5 letter word. So they know that word for sure. Um, but neither player with an A clearly could Jason draw it first. How many A's are 2 A's unseen potentially?
only two though, so that's
Wow.
yeah. Are we going to get into a sequence here where players are turning over tiles, just to get to that A.
Yeah, that's definitely a key tile right now. So what does she even do? I guess there are possibly some overlaps in this area. I don't know if you want to play something with flaw. That seems a little risky depending on what you go for.
Yeah,
Um,
it looks like all of her best plays involve that new Collins word OWO. So it's playing stuff like Ford FORD with four overlaps, which seems to be the star play, making far
whoa.
OWO. Yeah, right there. So Ford, if you see it, is the play. Um, if she doesn't take that spot, yeah, the options are not great. She can play prod in that bottom left there, making GIP and Boar to kind of blunt that area as well.
Yeah, I didn't see OO and I was staring at that spot. So
Prod or chop or plop.
yeah, any of those. But I feel like it's going to take me time to see Owo regularly. So
Yeah,
if she were to spot that, then kudos to her on that for sure. But
Mike
prod
Saban just said
seems,
hardest word in the dictionary.
yeah,
OWO.
for sure. It's the new hardest hook. It's going to be tough. We're going to see more misses of that one. Hopefully not by me, but probably also by me. I just pray that it doesn't come up if I'm on the stream somewhere. So,
I remember it coming up in that the last game of that epic Mac and Ian final at Nationals in South Bend, and
uh,
I too missed MPOX, and then sure enough played a tournament game, a few weeks later, and opponent opened with Pox, and he was the one who missed it because he drew the M right away, but. none of us even considered it until we both quackled the game later and was like, oh, that's right, Ox takes an M front hook, and O, and WO takes an O front hook now, which is again one of those things that kind of takes your brain time.
Yeah, for sure. So she has Orf set up, which actually, before I saw Owo, I was thinking that might be as good of a play as she can muster here. But if she slots it one up, it's going to score way more points with Fee, and be much safer defensively to boot. So I was like, is she going to have to play Orf here? I'm curious, is she going to slot it up one and see that crazy hook, which we're talking about being so difficult to spot? So, yeah, a lot of ways to go here. If you don't think about this O hook, which again, that is by no means a gimme, this play becomes really, really tough. Muffin says, "Can I get one of these commentators to use Owo in a sentence?" Oh my God, that's like that. Either Owo or
Sounds like a
Uwu.
job for Will.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, what do we even say? Like, heroin to birds, Owo? How do I do it? Did I?
Is that how you pronounce it? Oh,
No, it's like Uwu. It's like Uwu.
okay.
And Owo is like, it's more, isn't it more, isn't Owo like more concerned or scared or something? Okay, so this was the play I was seeing as the best play until you guys clued. Oh no, Plaw! Oh my God. Oh, this is so bad. The timing of this is the worst because there's no way Jason's not challenging it, and that sets her back in her quest to get that A, right? Now she has to go into next turn, still hoping for the A. So this is a tough one because you really would just want to try to turn some tiles and draw that super valuable, either the second blank or the A. So yeah, this is
Yeah.
going to be another big swing, unfortunately. A lot of swings here. So she got that resonant play, and Quoth came down, but her draw was so brutal. And now this is for sure coming off. So let's see what Jason can do. Is he going to hit the massive A hook here, or will the game continue on and she'll still have a chance to rebound?
Yeah, like you said, um, the downside of this game is no, he's just going to. Oh no, he's just going to bingo,
Oh,
which was also a potential drawing into ENS.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, but you could imagine, right? Had she played something valid and drawn an A with all those good scoring tiles, she could be hitting, frap or whatever, something big,
Yeah.
in that spot right now to equalize. And let's see what she is going to play up there now. Um, so the thing about, yeah, op, right? Is she going to go for op again? So that feels like a word I see all the time, but I'm going to guess that Jason just challenged Plaw, and now she's going to go for this again, which actually this is also not valid.
Right. Yeah, because I was just double checking. It's one of those plays that makes two phonies at once. So,
Yeah.
uh, uh, and given that she's playing it again, obviously that wasn't challenged unless he challenged them both, and she is thinking, oh, Claw is no good, but Op is, and certainly it's something I've used. Shorthand for opponent. Op did this, Op played this bingo, etc. And she actually got away with it though. So Jason must think that this is good too because she did draw her tiles.
Yeah, note that she saw Owo on her second try. I'm impressed. So she saw the hook after all that. She's drawn four did on her rack here. I don't think that actually fits anywhere yet. Maybe Jason will give her, unfortunately, laud, as in, oh, laud. Oh, laud, he coming. That is not acceptable. So I don't think she's going to try that. But maybe with the desperation of the score, she might. The A, again, is just, it's lurking, right? So a play there is just going to be so devastating. If Jason has it, it might inspire her to go for the gusto again. Um, this is also, well, this is kind of tough actually. With I was thinking with an E hook here, epee, maybe this opens up something, but it really doesn't because you need another hook here, which is going to be tough to fit AE or OE. Wow, what a gift. So this does not give a bingo back, but you love to see this little play if you're Heidi from Jason here.
Especially because if he had the A, we can pretty safely assume that he would have played Lav and Quotha.
No
So
question. Yeah, definitely, if not worse. So crazy game here. Plenty of great plays by both players, but also a couple missed opportunities, to say the least, by both players. And it's still there for the taking. Maybe, as you say, Jason. I just don't think Jason Ubika had an A there because he would have played it. So I'm reading this as, boy, I just need to try to burn through some tiles and see if I can get my hands on it. You might not even need a bingo to get back in this.
unless he had both A's and thought it was more important to kill that spot for
Oh,
but I think it's more likely that I mean so yeah so we know he has zero A's or two A's. I think that zero is mathematically especially more likely.
yeah. I guess with the two A's, you would still play AVAL, which is a valid word there, rather than
That's
this.
true.
So I'll add
Not
a
to mention
minimum.
that it does kill the Y, but now you've given her the V to play through.
What could she do through that V? But yes, I agree that it's possible if she has a reasonable play there, you might go for something there to create more space on the board somehow. Um, yeah, this is actually a tough turn. I'm not really seeing anything that makes me feel great here. Is it possible that just playing of, I don't have an A, is it possible that just playing of here and going for a bingo starting with E or ending with a vowel is the way to go? Yeah, that's what she's going to do.
Not not only is it quite possible, Quackle is saying it's what you should do, and it's what she's going to do.
Yeah, yeah, this makes sense. So now if she draws into a bingo starting with an E, it's going to fit here. And if she draws into a bingo ending in a vowel, pretty much any vowel, it's going to play here. And it looks like she hasn't done that, but maybe she just saved herself the game by blocking Quotha before Jason could play it.
Yeah, do what's your thought on this position where you don't have the A? There's two A's unseen. You're down by 50. Are you keeping it open here to increase volatility, or are you blocking it to make the board? You know, because the board is somewhat open for bingos, which is what you kind of need to get back in it. Um, so, like, what are your thoughts on keeping that spot open in Heidi's situation here?
Yeah, so I guess just looking at the unseen tiles, is there really only one A left? Let's count them. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Maybe there's. I had thought there were two, but maybe not.
There's two.
There are two? Okay, because that kind of. So the thing about it is the read that you have on this play, right? Knowing that Jason Ubika almost certainly does not have even one A, and he's only drawn two tiles. That would be the only earthly reason not to want to block it. In all other cases, like let's say he had just played five tiles, right? Then I'm blocking it if I don't have one. I have to stop him from playing there to put the score out of reach. So in general, I think the instinct to play there is definitely the default. The only reason you would deviate from that is based on his play of Fly, and even then, I think it's totally fine. And there he goes. He plays Logie, which these plays are, yes, that play does block the sevens lane parallel to Rain, but it also scores so little. This is definitely opening the door. If Heidi gets a bingo here, which I feel like there's still plenty of real estate. You've got this lane here, maybe Epee. Now you might be able to play through these tiles. I feel like now she can just kind of continue on scoring. I think something in this spot with ums is going to be fantastic for her here potentially. Whether what that is, I don't know. I think oh no, ORN isn't a word, sorry. Doesn't fit there.
But go the other way and play Med, and that's her star play.
Oh, Med. Oh, yes, that's so nice if she thinks of that one. Um, so yeah, I think there's enough space on the board open, and let's see. She's gonna go something else. She's gonna play Mending to. Oh, dinged. I thought she was gonna play Mending to just. Oh, she doesn't have another N. So she is gonna go for turnover as hard as possible and try to get her hands on that second blank, which makes a lot of sense here.
Yes, yeah. So we can see that, and also not if she draws the blank and doesn't bingo, she's only down by 22. Gotta update the score here. Sorry. Um, she can win this game without bingoing. It is possible for sure.
Yeah, no question she can. Let's see. There are the two A's. Ooh, oh
Best blank
man.
cluster she looked at. Here we go.
Wow. Okay, so we're definitely the top is a little bit cut off, but you guys can see there are two A's. The quotha A's are there.
Okay, so
Sat.
we now know that Jason did not have any.
Yeah, we sure do. So unfortunately, I don't know what is going to be available other than Samovar, which doesn't appear like it's going to fit anywhere productively here. And I cannot imagine um, Jason making a spot for it. But maybe he has, like, could Jason have three eyes right now and just have no productive way to do anything?
Yes,
Possibly.
I was going to say the unseen pool is now correct from Heidi's point of view. So
Got it, got it.
we're looking at four tiles in the bag, and again fairly balanced, except for like you mentioned those three eyes.
Um, We can mute it. I had the room sounds on to be able to catch if she was going to say anything to her opponent, but I think it's fine to. It might be a better experience for everybody to mute it. So yeah, that's totally fine. Oh yeah, that was why it was on, just in case she were to talk to her opponent, we would hear it. So maybe I'll make it a little less noisy just in case she says something. We'll hear it on low volume. So, all right, did that empty the bag?
It did, yes.
So this is it, huh? She's got to have a bingo here probably because that scored enough that I don't think she'll be able to outrun. Although she's going to know he has like IIUG on his rack if she's tracking. So that opens up the door a little, but probably not enough.
Yeah, so there is one playable bingo right now, and it is the only way to win the game. Under optimal play, there are certainly plays that will come close, and maybe if Juju missteps, but there is a playable bingo here.
There is? Oh, I see it. Oh my god. Oh my god. I see it. Maravedis. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was going to be the hint that there were no playable bingos before, which I hadn't mentioned, but now there is one.
Maravedis.
Yes,
Oh man, if she spots this, that would be absolutely insanely epic. And she has
I was going to say,
every.
is this a spot? Is this a spot where maybe you see Marvetti and figure it's worth?
No, she had MARAV.
I know. Yeah.
Okay,
Oh gosh, if she could do it, this would be unbelievably epic.
she can you just make sure that Jason's play of Liney is reflected in his score?
It is not. So thank you, thank you.
Just want to see because she has to. The reason I say that is that she can go overtime a little bit and still find this and win. Oh my god, she is so close. Just put that V. uh, this is the sweat of the century here. I feel like she probably knows this word. This feels like a word she knows to me. And this would be an insane way to win. Maybe she's never heard of this word. I just don't know. It's hard to know all the time. But oh man, okay.
Yeah.
She's gonna go for just Vim or Vom. Oh man, I wonder if she knows that word and if it's gonna be if we tell her after the game if she's just gonna shrug her shoulders and say I never heard of that word, or if she's gonna facepalm and say oh man I knew that one. I guess we'll have to find out. I thought there was a chance. I really thought she was lining it up on the rack there, Jason.
It was very close. She was very close to seeing it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Um,
tough one to lose. Lost a couple turns with phonies. Found that blank a little bit too late. Did some good stuff. Nice fit in there of Geo, which looks to be by far Juju's best play.
Yeah, Maravetti is an NWL word as well. So that was, one that she might have run into in play before Collins. So yeah, just escaped notice. But yeah, it was so close. If you were to switched out almost any letter from that rack, like the V or the
Yeah,
second A, you would potentially see her bingoing out here. With Laws, this spot was available the whole time. So a gutsy play by Jason to leave that spot available and empty the bag. Hi, Seth, by the way. Heidi shrugs to the camera. We'll see. Keep in mind, too, it's probably stressful to have your game interrupted by the director and have to do tech
this is
support, which is, this is like the tax that you pay as a streamer. We should all be very grateful that she is, putting in the work behind the scenes to let us all be able to sweat along with her here. But that's stressful, right? She had the game stopped and had to figure out how to refresh the board cam, which that would throw anybody off a little.
that is a good point that I had forgotten about.
So Kurt, the play by Jason's not an outplay, so she will now be able to plop her A down and finish this off. But yeah, oh man, I hesitate to even mention Maravetti to her. Oh,
Yeah.
nice hook here.
Oh, that is very nice. Yeah, I didn't know that she knew that one. The A front hook divine.
Nice, a vine, and that's gonna do it for the first game of the day. Yikes. Hey Seth, good to see you. So that's a tough one. A lot is going to hinge in her reaction to. I don't even know whether. What do you guys think? Should we ask her about it? She's probably fine if we ask her. Did you know that word? But I hesitate to do that sometimes. Jason doesn't feel
I know.
great to hear it.
Yeah, it's always tough, and I never minded because I used to go over all of my games, so it's like if you saw it, like I might as well know now as opposed
For
to
sure.
later this week. But I understand that, with some people it is kind of a touchy subject. So
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it is knowing in a week is not as damaging psychologically
psychologically,
as
right.
knowing it now, right? So knowing it now can sort of mess with your head a little bit more than the ignorance is bliss, maybe, of, finding out when you're a little bit removed from the action of the tournament. So we'll see. So yeah, I have the audio on somewhat quiet. If she puts in her headphones, I'll turn it up so you can hear her a little better if we actually get a chance to talk to her, which usually we do. Winter appears to be coming over to help, perhaps as atonement for spending 5.5 minutes to play sidling triple triple against her in the pre-end game yesterday.
I had to turn off the stream right before that happened.
Yeah, that I'm teasing. He probably wasn't 100% sure of the word and had to work up the courage to play it. So
I was worried about the hook here, the A.
Yeah, especially in Collins with the 5 point
So I wasn't sure if you were
penalty.
blocking it because you didn't
Um,
have the A's either, or.
really hard to play anything you're not sure of. Now Heidi
I know
seems
you
to be
ended
the
up
counter to that, but we've also
uh,
seen it kind of cost her a bit a few times.
yeah, definitely
keeping close eye on it.
bravery on her
I
part
wanted to
with some of these
pick it up, but
plays. But she just, Jason, just to clue you in, she just told Jason Ubika
super careful
that
with
she was not thinking about Quotha.
this at one point.
So potentially
Oh,
we
okay.
could have seen her
Okay.
Just run
draw
across the residue
um,
thing.
draw the A
Oh, okay. Yeah,
and not be able to
that
play it, which would have
residue
been surprising.
thing. Yeah, I know what I'm thinking of.
Let me see. I'm trying to.
But I had nothing else to do, so I went. I'm not 100% sure, but why am I doubting this? Oh, because it's Tony.
There we go.
Well, good luck in the next one.
Walker's name is longer than I bargained for, apparently.
But it
The little record is there. Oh, I think she's.
so I just
So I think she can hear us potentially. Did I just see Heidi put in the headphones? I think that's a yes. So we'll
Yes.
turn her up. Um, hey Heidi, that was a pretty crazy back and forth game. I'm really sorry about the board
Hey.
camera thing. That was
I'm
probably.
sorry, I did not play very well.
Oh, well, it was. I mean, both of you had some turns you would take back for sure. But yeah, definitely some good turns as well mixed in. We like the Quoth, going for the big Q play there, which turned out well after Resonant. Um, but yeah, the chat was enjoying the game, watching along faithfully. We still have a nice audience already to start the day, so we're all
Watching
sending
make
you.
all the mistakes.
Yeah, we've got people in the chat praising you for all number of reasons here, so hopefully you can see that. But yeah, how are you? Hopefully you can just not worry too much about that game, which was still actually a really exciting and fun one for us to all watch, and shake off the board thing and have a great day.
Yeah, I totally wasn't tracking the D hook on ads and the A hook on quotes, and I don't even know how many other mistakes. I totally thought flaw was a word, obviously.
So you didn't draw an A, right? So you didn't have a chance to not play Quotha, and you actually blocked it very effectively by playing of. So it didn't
Okay,
look
good.
to us like Quotha actually.
Everybody thought I was genius. Meanwhile, I was just making mistakes.
I guess my audio is really up and down here. Sorry if you guys can't hear me. I'm doing my best to keep it even.
Offer's not good? Oh my god.
I guess you're seeing that in the chat from Matthew.
Threes and fours are so high.
Yeah, there were a couple crazy situations here for sure. Um, so yeah, I'm not sure. Did you have any other questions about this?
So I played it twice. I'm sure I have lots of questions, but I can't think of what they are now, and I really have to compete before my next game.
All right, let's let you go take a break. Your next opponent is Walker Willingham, and you're gonna go first in the game. So good luck against Walker, and we'll see you in a minute.
Okay, Slug, I will tell Walker you said hi.
Cool. All right, muting Heidi there on site, or maybe I'll just reduce the volume again so that it's not as loud. That way we capture a little bit of the ambient sound there. Hopefully, yeah, everybody should feel free to let me know in the chat if the audio sounds really off, either my audio too loud or soft or not equalized with Jason. Definitely let me know. I can fix that easily as long as I know. I have my little bars, that show the audio levels, but I feel like every time I look over there, they look slightly different. So I'm happy to take feedback from people. So yeah, all right. So crazy game to watch. It seems like she's not feeling very good about the game, but hopefully she can put it in the rearview mirror quickly, Jason.
Yeah, there was you were kind of juggling a few things, but there was a comment in the chat that you might have wanted to tell her that OPP is no good and that she got away with one. In part, if it comes up again later this session.
She saw it. She saw that. She
she
reacted to that. Yeah. So she caught that detail. So it's just one of those games where your word knowledge is you just get presented with a bunch of situations. We've all been there, I feel like,
Yep.
barring the upper crust of the game, the one or two or three people.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like you haven't, but us mortals have been. Yes.
Oh my god, if I just find my score sheets right now and I could show you, there are so many of them where I have at the top of my sheet or anywhere on the sheet, I write the words that I'm unsure of, and I guarantee you that I could find a score sheet where there's like 15 words in that spot where I just like every turn is a debate about validity of the words. So anyway,
That could be a fun. That could be a fun between games activity if we ever need time to kill for whatever reason. You
score
pull out
sheet
your old, yeah,
score sheet
List
review.
Wordle slash word quizzes. You just give us a word and then we try
Nice.
to decide whether it's good or not. So
Yeah, we're
all right, they're cornering these. Heidi is going first, so I gotta reset up this game here. So take it away.
yeah. So an exciting one, man. We did not. I feel comfortable not mentioning Maravetti. Had she asked if I had a bingo at the end of the game, as Slug Biker suggested, if she asks, we could have told her. I feel comfortable not telling her just because you just don't. Even if I'm somebody that likes to know and I want to know immediately, you just don't know necessarily that the person you're talking to is the same way. So, but man, that would have been epic to see her come away with the win with that insane 9-letter bingo.
That would have been something, yes.
Yeah.
So
So another
we'll have to get
chance.
the answer at some point. I also don't know if Heidi's planning on watching this stream back later.
She
If
usually
it,
does. She
yeah.
usually does. So,
I mean, that's
um,
why, honestly, yesterday afternoon, I was thinking that would be kind of cool to do this, for myself. It would also save me the trouble of quackling. There would be somebody else doing it for me, and I could get analysis of my games from somebody else without having to do it myself. So
yeah, it's cool for a number of reasons. I definitely feel like this is something I would love to normalize. I also feel like it's a great way for it's never been easier, let's say, for somebody to just assemble a little bit of equipment. I mean, I feel like Heidi's done amazing at getting the necessary equipment to be able to do this with basically no support on site. Like, we're here supporting her from afar, but in terms of the equipment required, you can do a lot with a smartphone and a couple webcams nowadays. So it's never been more, the barrier to entry for this sort of thing has never been lower. And I think it's something that I would love to see become more standard, especially at tournaments that aren't so big. To the Josh Greenway and Kieran O'Connor led tournaments at Let's Play Scrabble, they've done insane amounts of work to get their streams up for those board one focused streams. But I love the idea of this becoming more normalized as well, where a tournament's on the calendar, maybe it doesn't have that big stream, but you can still tune in, catch some of the action from the tournament. We do also, I feel like Heidi and Walker are going to start shortly, but we do also have the standings here as well, just to take a look. So you can see Heidi there in 21st place. That win would have gone a long way to pop her up in the standings. But a lot of the usual suspects in the top group there, Jason. Players that we're accustomed to seeing at that top level. Pretty deep field here in Collins.
yeah, poor Jason Keller looks like he just tied Dean Saldana. So that must have
Oh,
been one heck of a game. Unfortunately for Jason, that's one of those ties that's like a loss given where his spread is, but
yeah.
probably offset by the fact that now Dean is the only person you have to worry about competing against on spread unless there is another tie down the road. So you can kind of make those spread hemorrhaging desperation plays if necessary.
Yeah, it's a great point. The tie is so I wouldn't say so rare. I guess I would say that it is pretty rare. You see a lot of tournaments complete from start to finish with no players at all having a tie in the entire division. So I would say it's pretty rare. And to your point, depending on your spread, the tie is either a welcome get out of jail free card of, well, my spread sucks, but I don't have to worry about it anymore, or you lose your beautiful spread tiebreaker that you've worked so hard to build up in one fell swoop. Except for the other person you tied against, which that I've actually seen that matter too once or twice in my career.
You live in Ontario?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's your recounting ties policy?
Um,
Because you can do it by the game theory way of
I thought it might be.
if your spread is good, you might want to because it's like a loss. If your spread is bad, you might want to take the tie because now it eliminates the spread. I just feel from a karmic standpoint, I've just seen way too many people who request a recount on a tie lose, and I've yet to see one win. So I don't think I've ever recounted any of my handful of ties in my career.
Yeah, that's definitely the heroine to Bird's way. She is on record as saying her favorite result in a Scrabble game is a tie. Like, she would prefer a tie almost to anything. As for me, I sort of have become more sympathetic to that viewpoint, but my default is always I want to know the truth of the game. I want to know what
Okay.
was the actual score of the game. Even if it cost me a win, I can feel okay with that, because
Okay.
how bad can you really feel if you recount the game? It turns out you overscored or underscored a play, or your opponent did that, and that was the actual score of the game. Justice was served somehow, right? Like, that's kind of how I could imagine it. So yeah, I would say I lean closer to that.
Real quick before we have to get into this game here, one of the more painful or at least memorable losses of my career is a game where I lost when I had four bingos in a row because I was in part because I was so far behind when the barrage started. Also, like one of the bingos gave him a QI for 64, so I basically turned out even. But the reason is because when I went home and quackled the game later, I found that even though I thought I lost by 11, I actually tied because there was a 1 point scoring error and then a 10 point carrying error that neither of us missed. So I certainly
Wow.
understand that wanting to know the truth of the games.
Yeah, you
So
have a knack for that,
Russell,
don't
can you
you?
answer?
You have a knack for getting these crazy games swinging one way or another. Four bingos and somehow only tying, getting hit with a 313-point triple triple and almost winning. It seems like you would do the community a service, Jason, if you get on one of the streams just like this, like you were saying. The content would be flowing fast. But we like this play, I think, by Heidi of You're Round, not a gimme of a Collins only 4-letter word, and balanced the rack quite nicely, I think.
Yeah, this is one of those opening racks where I know some experts play short, some play long, but you could have played Aurora, but that gives up a bunch of e hooks. Could have turned over. I like this play. I think in a situation like this, I think you want to leave as best as you can, and she did that. Speaking of turnover, Walker is going to do that with Elegiac through the A.
Yeah, I could have sworn when he started playing this stuff that we were going to see a bingo, but it turns out he's just kind of dumping as many tiles off of unappealing rack as possible, and it's going to put the E in the double lane. So there's no way I think Heidi doesn't at least see talliers here. Does she remember the validity of it? I don't know, but there's definitely stuff that she can play through that E. I fully expect her to find either talliers or trialed or something in that spot. As long as she can pull the trigger on those words, I expect it here.
Yeah. Speaking of Walker's play, I know we have a friend of his from the Seattle club in chat. I don't know if he's normally a fast player, but he did that so quickly. I'm almost wondering if we can infer an E leave there. Just that he had the three E's and saw this and knew he wanted to get rid of at least two and was a good way to do it.
That's a great
All again,
point.
only because he did it so fast, like you. So is she seeing Talliers? Yeah, here comes Talliers.
Yep. So this is solid. If you really want to split hairs, you might say that trialed with the two L's is a hair better than this, to avoid putting an S here where it's kind of easy to dump high scoring tiles if Walker has them. Maybe you avoid this spot somewhat, but this is a real hair splitter. This has to be just as good as basically anything else you could play there, give or take, fractions of a percentage point, and maybe it's fine to do. So definitely one of her, if not her best plays here. Nicely spotted, and we move on with the first bingo of the game. Really only the one game yesterday that was kind of a walkover for her. The last game of the day where she finished it off with ISO mirrors triple triple. Let's see what she draws here. Oh, okay, it was looking all right, and then BV came to spoil the party there. And I don't think be paved is a valid word. So
Yeah, I'm having this issue where like the bottom of my screen keeps cutting off, like with our control room stuff. So I actually thought that was repaved and purveyed for a second. The
oh,
B's and R's look alike, the E's and F's look alike, the I's and L's look alike. So got to be really careful with what I say here. But again, Walker is going to play fast with with when you've got 50 some for the X, I guess makes a lot more sense to play fast there.
Yeah, this is actually, I mentioned that trialed and talliers are really, really close to the same, but actually, this is pretty much the exact situation that you're trying to avoid by playing trialed, placing an I on top of the triple letter score instead of the A. That would have potentially taken the sting out of that X. So these, like I said, these plays are really, really close together. But actually, this is one of those rare situations where playing that different double double might have worked out better. But who's to say? And all right, very quickly, nice.
Yep.
She's going to spot
Yep.
what looks like a great play to me, Jason.
Looks to be your best one, yeah. Vaped. I was also gonna forgot to mention that the only other double double was Tailleur. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Taille blank UR, which would have put the I above that triple instead of the A. So you're still slotting the vowel, but not giving an X big X playback. No, so I'm not sure if you saw Tailleur or what you think of that compared to. I think Trialed is better.
Yeah, I think Tailleur still puts the A in that spot, though, right? It ends in EUR, so the Tailleur is spelled like this, right? So the beginning of the word is still there. OXO would still fit under that one
You're right. You are
just as
correct.
well. So really, it's trialed or bust against the X. And I'm not sure what they're
I don't know. Yeah, she hasn't hit her clock, so I don't know if she's having a hard time scoring this one,
counting.
or
It is a complicated one, but
it could be a situation where maybe she and Walker are getting different things. Maybe her clock should be stopped here if she has committed this play.
she seems totally unconcerned by that. I agree with you, Jason, that for a score discrepancy, I'd want to stop the clock, especially if I was a player that tended towards running low on time. Now we're going for another count. All on her clock here. Hopefully she doesn't miss those couple of minutes late in the game, but that's funny that this one is beguiling them both seemingly. There
As
we
we
go.
Okay. As we get into popularizing streaming in Scrabble, there's certain things that passersby or people on neighboring games can point out, and things that they can't point out. So now we're getting into the ethics of texting Heidi to say that her clock is running and it maybe should be stopped.
Yeah, that one probably doesn't rise to the level
Right.
of, we should interrupt the game. I felt a little bit guilty about having the director come over and tell her to refresh the board cam, but I think the reason I did that was that I put myself in her shoes of would she want us to do that? And I think the answer for sure was yes, she would want us to, have somebody come over and say that. So yeah, I think that's why we opted to do that as Walker playing za top, a top.
A top, yes, a top to make a top. Say that 10 times fast.
Yes. I see a cool play here through talliers of blue tit, which would be a
Yeah, I was gonna
hilarious
say
play.
highest equity play.
A butted looks fine though.
Statically.
This
A
play,
butted, a butted is second best statically. I won't have time to sim this, but I think this is absolutely fine.
best of all, she played it instantly. So is blue tit better? Arguable. This play is still very good, and she played it so fast. So definitely the pace that you want to see after the recount gate.
Yeah. Well, now the clock has stopped. We may have another one here.
Yeah, maybe after all the
Probably
score.
just clarifying the score, which
Yeah.
is way behind on my end. Sorry, a couple turns behind.
Oh, it's not. I think it's pretty
Yep.
close. Yeah, there we go.
Oh,
So, yeah, they'll just get that squared away, and then off to the races we go. It looks like they are back on Walker's turn. All right, nice. So, solid lead here, as long as Walker doesn't bingo, which I would say after za. I don't really know what za means, Jason. There was a big Z spot here that if he wanted to score a fair number more points, he would have been able to. He's just going to play quad. Uh-oh. The draw. Oh my god. Yikes. Man, she could use a T here. She needs a T. Oh, brutal.
Interesting that Walker didn't just play cat from that T and a butted, just looking, sacrificing 8 points. So perhaps the A, the only vowel there, maybe?
Yeah, that's
Which certainly
possible.
would make sense considering what Heidi's just drawn, eh?
She's definitely hogging them. I was saying for a moment that she really needed a T, and Weibin chiming in also with an N, which makes sense because if she would have drawn one of those one of those consonants there, she could get out of jail with a big play from the Q, but instead there really doesn't seem to be anything. And I cannot imagine what's worth putting on the board here.
Yeah, she's got the old
Louis,
McDonald track. I know that she's moving them, but I missed that last tile. So we
it's a
have three.
U. Yeah, it's a
Okay.
U. So
Okay. So you got
E-I-E-I-O.
yeah, we got the old McDonald EIEO rack. We got the EOUI. Although I don't even know where that goes on this board. Other than off the blank S and Talliers. Louis does score 14 from through that L in Elegiac, that kind of blue tit spot that you were keen to earlier. Could play EUI off that blank S and Talliers, but I don't know. 4S is out. Z and X are gone. I don't know if this is a spot where we need to consider turnover or not.
Yeah. I would say I just don't love Louis. It just, I mean, 14 points, okay, but also creating another S hook and opening an E out in space. I guess there already is one. Maybe it's barely worth it. I guess it just. Oh, what happened there? The camera. Oh, there we go. I think she's got it back. Nice. It's actually even better than it was before. So that's good for us that she bonked her rack there. But yeah, let's see. Louis here gives the S hook. Well, there kind of already is one, at least for bingos. And it gives an E out in space, and there kind of already is one here. So
Don't forget the
may.
don't forget the S hook on both sides of quad as well.
Yeah, true. Good point. So maybe it's okay. All right, very interesting. Okay,
Oh,
so
she's gonna basically fish for a quine there. Oh, very interesting.
it's interesting. My worry though is that the upside of that spot isn't actually that high, right? So I guess let me just point out Vaquita also plays here. If she draws good enough, if she draws AAT, that would be a hilarious draw. Um, but oh my god, so not great. So yeah, my concern here. Oh right, choir as well. So you could get N, T, or R. But the worry is that those plays are not that powerful even when you hit them. So I don't feel like
I
it's
see what you're saying.
worth over indexing on a play like that here. So she's gone for it. Unfortunately for her, she has not drawn any of them. But I guess she could play QUEY.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. I'm just kind of catching up here.
Walker, of course, playing gins into the S of Talliers, and that looks a little bit terrifying because of the D hook here. We got a couple Ds on the board, so if Walker had a D in reserve, it certainly feels like he could play something like this with very good confidence that Heidi doesn't have a D, and that is true, and she makes her best play very fast.
Yeah, also could have played Yite, making QI and AE look like statically those were very close, but I think Quay is probably pretty good.
Yeah, so the question here
So
is
how much would Quite have scored in that spot? Just looking.
oh, if she hit the consonant that she would
Okay,
have.
yeah, I think I see what. Yeah, just like so QUITE. I'm just kind of counting it. It's like 40. Yeah, probably shouldn't be keeping the U on an exchange just to score 40. I mean, again, I see what she was trying to do, but I think there's just a hint of what I like to when I annotate my games call FPS or fancy play syndrome in there.
Oh, yes, that's fancy play syndrome. I am a sufferer or have been for many years. It's definitely a condition that I have to fight against regularly. We've all sort of felt it. Yeah, it's very natural to see a really, really cool option and just want to go for it because Scrabble should be fun after all. But yeah, this is definitely potentially an example of that, but it's not that crazy. I'm not gonna say it's
No,
like
no,
a
no. I kind of liked it.
yeah, yeah, it's not horrible. Oh man, look at this. Jimp. So that puts the P in the triple lane. I don't think that gives her super much through that P, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, she's got a couple cool options here centered in this area of the board. Ooh, oh boy, what is she doing?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
you
great.
forgot the N.
Holy crap. That's
I forgot it too.
actually fantastic.
That is a brilliant play.
I was thinking she was going to play HYE here, potentially setting up her S, which definitely has some merit, but that is a sick, sick play, and it's going to get a challenge too. I didn't even see that on my radar. Man, I'm bad about the N hook of that word. I've missed that before against at this tournament, at this very tournament against Nigel
Oh boy.
Richards. I missed that
Oh
hook.
my.
Oh yeah, that's a great
Something tells
play.
me that something tells me that Nigel did not.
He sure didn't. No, he bingoed. He hooked it with an S and bingoed immediately, which I could have blocked had I thought of the N hook. So that was a big goof on my part. But I mean, this has to be the best play, Jason. No?
Yes, it absolutely is. When you usually when you can score 58, which is now I assume 63. I assume he's just challenging HYNDE. So there is a small chance that the score is off, and Heidi actually has 5 more points than we have reported. But yeah, I mean, look, anytime you can score 63 and keep an S, EIS is not the greatest sleeve, especially since certainly looks like Walker's got a bunch of consonants while Heidi's been dealing with some vowel issues. But obviously didn't get a chance to sim it. But yeah, this was a great play. Yeah, Quackle showing me all these choices, scoring like 60. I was like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Forgetting the N hook.
Yeah, very very nice play. There were a ton of good options there. So I guess the best thing you could say is, oh, look at that.
Yeah, so the S's are weighing Walker down over here, obviously, as he plays
Just
ST for
just
24.
ST. Wow. That is crazy. And yeah, look at
But
this draw again. Man, she left SEI and on some of the whatever she played a butted, leaving an I and drew EEEIOU or something. So not ideal by any means, but I'm just wondering what can she even do? It's like tantalizing to play up with the jimp area of the board. There just doesn't appear to be the right overlap to play up there. I would love it to play up there too, Jason, because you're a 3-letter play here would score well and also cut that Jin's hook off. It feels like maybe Walker is sitting on that D but doesn't have enough vowels to go with it to cash in his spot. We could definitely be seeing a massive play there at some point in the near future.
yeah, yeah, this is kind of a good lesson, I think, in something that I think often goes overlooked is, again, leave inference. Again, going back to what I said when Walker played quad when he could have played QAT for 8 more points. I certainly think, given his play since Jin's, Jimp, and now the ST, it certainly seems that A was his only vowel on that rack. So when you know that your opponent is struggling with consonants, that makes you more likely to draw vowels. And again, HYNDE was the best play, but you have to be really careful when you draw into a leave like EIS when the pool is even more vowel heavy, either from playing consonants, a bunch of consonants early in the game, or your opponent playing very few vowels in the short term. To kind of again just be paying attention to that and kind of trying to just to be careful that you don't willingly give yourself vowelitis.
Yeah, it's a really good point. And to your point of leave inference, quad, in addition to just suggesting consonant heaviness, which is why you would want to get rid of the D, it also definitely suggests Oh, wow. Look at this.
Yeah, iOS might be a little bit better there, but OES I think is well, not might be. It is. It is a little bit better, but this certainly seems to be the right idea here from Heidi. Kind of sucks to cash in an S when you know your opponent is sitting on one, but 39 points is 39 points.
Yeah, it's just keep the scoring pressure on. The nice thing, I guess, also is the B playing nicely. If she draws an A, maybe she'll play BA underneath there. Oh, I thought she might draw Biryani's. She actually drew quite well overall. And look at that, no D for Walker. I really was expecting one, especially what the point I was going to make is that quad, not only does it signal consonant heaviness, it could also definitely signal another D in reserve, Jason.
Well, he played quad before Jins though. It was quad then Jins.
Right, but my thinking is if you play quad
Oh, I
leaving a
see what you're saying.
D,
Okay. Yeah,
that
yeah.
now strongly incentivizes you to play Jin holding on to that D again, right? So yeah, that's just the thinking there. But yeah, so this is only going to even the game, and as you guys in chat are pointing out, just Hilly through this L is going to be a bit of a bailout for those three eyes, and I think she's still going to be in decent shape. Um, Holding on
Well,
to.
so now that we know what Walker had, oh, he's going to get another nickel for that. Do you ever play Thon, Thon, through that HO, score 24 and draw into LOST blank? It looks like statically they're quite close.
Very interesting. Um, you could. You definitely could. That's a creative option for sure. Thon. You have to know that word first, but in the world where everybody knows every word, that seems especially reasonable, Jason, because of this open P. You can definitely draw into triple triples as your upside, holding that blank. So I feel like this board is uncommonly good for maybe holding on to the blank. So I like Thon a little better than usual, but we see Hilly come down really fast. I like this idea. Another suggestion, if we're worried about the Jin's hook, is to play Nihil. I feel like I've been accused of mispronouncing that, like nihilism versus nihil.
Yeah, so I would just pronounce it Nihil since it's, nihilism minus theism. But I
Well,
have no idea how to pronounce it correctly either, so
yeah,
do not
I
take what I say
certainly
as gospel.
I certainly don't. I'm definitely copying a character from the video game Elden Ring. Any Elden Ring fans out there? There's a character who shouts "nihil" at you. So that's basically, and I feel like as a Latin, I think that's how I pronounced it in my Latin classes in college. So, but I don't remember, so I can't really claim to be the authority on that. So, in any case, even after all that, oh, okay. Corf and Chili. Nice hook by Walker, but she can live with that. It's not devastating from a score perspective. And now the question becomes what to do with this kind of weird set of letters. One cool play is you could just play KHOR and keep both of your vowels for next turn, scoring very well through HO. You would have to know that word, which isn't a gimme. Um, but yeah, I'm struggling to find like great plays that really get the F and K and B, as many of
Yeah.
those as
Yeah, you
possible.
can. Yeah, so it's KHOR or bot in that
Just
spot.
BA, yeah, that's what we were
Yeah,
saying after
yeah.
O's is that the B is really nice down there. So she's drawn an A and she could just plop it down there for a great score. So,
My first thought was Kif. If depending on how concerned we are about that case D,
oh,
um, Kif through that I in Jimp will leave very well. Again, only scores 30 as opposed to the 48 for KHOR, or the 42 for Ba. But that was the first thing I saw. I certainly looks that the score advantage for kind of taking that spot out, both the score advantage and taking that spot out make those plays better. But she's certainly got some reasonable options here.
yeah, Kif looks great at this score and on this board. What's the biggest threat? Well, I guess the P of Jimp, but what's the most realistic threat? A bingo ending in ED. There's the D and a ton of E's left. So I actually really like Kif, especially because it's kind of comparable to some of these other plays on score. No, it's not as many points as KHOR, but getting rid of the R really hurts the leave overall. Whereas playing KF, you actually have a good chance of, with Brain as your leave. First of all, you have BA in reserve down here at a minimum with that leave. And then there's definitely some upside of some stuff. As Weibin points out, you can draw AE, which is a pretty common draw from the bag, and play P Brain off of the P of Jimp after that. So yeah, we like this. I'm applauding this play. I actually really like this choice.
Yeah, certainly. I'm wondering if maybe you play Bond, then keep that in reserve as opposed to the other way around. Um, but yeah, I do kind of like this play. I think this play has a lot going for it.
Sorry, which play?
The Kif, what she ended up playing.
What were you considering? Oh no, stop playing letters. Okay, just a page. All right, never mind.
Okay, I was gonna say
I was gonna say don't end the game
Oh,
now.
okay.
Oh, she drew P Brain.
Oh,
No.
it got blocked.
Oh my god, that is so painful. If she doesn't see it, that will definitely be better for her. But actually, now with this draw, just BA
Yeah.
is fantastic for her, right? Like that's
See,
going to score a boatload. So it's not all is not lost. But that's amazing that I think Kif was a really strong play. She drew basically the most common draw that she can get, which would have given her a bingo. But nicely played. A page looks like a great play by Walker to score well with 3 vowels and a G. So it looks like a nice play by him. No slight to him on that, but I do expect to see BA in the corner here, unless you're spotting anything better.
Unless maybe a board vision glitch and she misses it. But yeah, this is why you're Will Anderson. You just like call out 2-tile draws. Okay, she did see it.
This is a
by
lot
far
of
her best play in
points.
this.
How many
Yeah,
points is
42
this?
for BA. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, so she's up by 20 and she's getting 42 for this, which she's got to feel good. Also, holding a really good bingo leave, she could definitely get the knockout blow after a page. There is a really nice, easy lane for 7-letter words on the right side of the board right here. It accommodates pretty much every overlap that she could have. So if she just draws something decent... And, ooh, all right. One of the two W's. Close, but no cigar, I think. But I think she's not going to have a problem seeing the W here because she'll continue to be able to score. But yeah,
But as I update the unseen pool, one of the things to like about Heidi's position, up by 62, probably can outrun a bingo. The board is pretty bad for bingos, just that kind of line off of the E in a page. But when you look at the unseen pool, Walker has to deal with 2 O's, 2 I's, as well as UVW.
Yeah, there's a lot lurking in here that isn't good for Walker's quest to bingo. So if he can thread the needle, though, and if you were to strike out some of these tiles from the unseen pool, it's actually definitely possible that he'll have one. The nice thing, though, is that, again, this board is so closed down. Where are you going to bingo if you're Walker? Here, potentially, and a lot of the time giving back counterplay to the triple, and after that, the board is pretty conclusively dead, and there's just not that many tiles left. So I'm liking her position. No phonies. We don't want to see any phonies from here on out. All valid words. I think she's in really strong shape here.
Yeah, you sounded like you're a press your luck fan like I was as a kid. Saying,
no whammies, no
phonies,
whammies.
no phonies, no phonies, no phonies.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
No
but yeah,
whammies.
Heidi's played a very clean game here. And sometimes like that's all you need to do. So certainly, again, she's learning. I know that in the past she's joked about being the phony queen, and now I'm getting to see it firsthand. So, but yeah, sometimes a lot of the time it's just stay clean, don't make any big mistakes, and a lot of the time you'll come out on top. So since we've got a little bit of time here, they've played quite fast. Curious as to your thoughts. I know that we talked earlier about the universe in which everybody knows anything. So kind of the flip side of that, the universe in which your word knowledge is shaky. I'm almost wondering if you you really should be challenging everything you don't know in 5 point challenge. But considering that your opponent plays Tunlets, burns the blank in the S for 62, and bails out your 3 Iraq with Hilly for 40 for 33, like, do you even challenge that? Like, what do you do when Tunlets comes off?
Great question. I still think there is a lot of value in setting your opponent back one turn from drawing more of the good tiles in the bag. Yes, you do benefit quite a bit, but I think the idea of forcing them to make a different play, spend a little bit more time potentially looking for a bingo that they didn't see when they played Tonlets. There are a lot of bits of upside to challenging words off that aren't necessarily captured in the immediate exchange of the how many more points do I get versus the 5 point risk of challenging and adding five. Like how many points do I actually gain? You gain a lot of other things as well whenever you challenge. So it would need to be, I think, a much more stark situation. Like if she had Zill or something through the L of Tomlitz, I know that's not possible with the Z on the board, but yeah, I think there are a lot of benefits that aren't captured in that one turn score differential. So I would always like to see challenges remotely unsure. I do feel like in general, if I had to diagnose the meta right now of Collins play in North America, it's that people don't challenge enough by half. You see way too many
Correct.
phonies staying on the board, in my opinion. So yeah, I don't. I'm sure I have let a phony stay on the board at some point in my career, but it's possible that I never have. It's possible that
Yeah.
I never have. It must have happened once or twice somewhere along the way, but I feel like I am very eager to challenge any word and just give the extra five if I'm remotely unsure, and I've done it a number of
Uh,
times. So
yeah. While Walker is thinking, if I can squeeze this story really quick, when I played Worlds in 2009, um, I made a play, opponent challenged. I recognized that the play was giving back a very big Z counterplay. So when he challenged, I was like, all right, first off, I knew the word was good and I was getting the extra five. And second, like, he doesn't have the Z to pound me there. So then we get back to the table and he plays the Z in that spot for 80. And after the game, he's like,
oh,
I missed the Z spot. I missed the, that you gave me a way to score with the Z. But I realized it after I challenged. So I actually wanted that word to come back good.
oh my God, that's crazy. That's wild. Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one, right? I mean, that goes back to the idea that the technique of inference is always very important in Scrabble. The sooner you start thinking that way, the better your game's going to be. When you consider every opponent's move to be a clue that can help you make your best play a little more accurately next turn, that's a great mindset to adopt. However, it becomes more reliable at those higher levels of play when Nigel Richards, for example, is at some point I want to do a video about this, which is that he's literally the best person in the world to do inference against, right? Because the odds of him missing a better scoring play or a better equity play with certain letters in his leave is basically zero. You can infer against him with perfect confidence. Did we see an exchange? I think I
Oh,
think I think
yeah, the
so.
board is the same, and Heidi's clock is running. So
Yeah, that's
unless the
huge.
OOEW we were talking about kind of got in his way a bit.
Yeah, that is definitely a huge break that's going to help so much to really seize command of the game. Whatever she wants to do here, score with her W, try to balance her tiles now. However, she wants to do that, she will be able to. Um, looks
Yeah, what do you
like
think of? Because I was just thinking of ways that Walker maybe could open the board. He could play to that L in Talliers to the triple to score and open. Um, so I haven't really looked at options yet. Heidi doesn't have a huge scoring play here. So her highest scoring play, which is the play I'm about to suggest, is 21, and it's just playing WAI. off of that I in Talier's making we and a L there. Yep. So you just drew it. So what do you think about that, or does that make it too easy for Walker to just hit that triple next turn with something ending in O and kind of open the board back up again?
I definitely don't think it makes it too easy. I'm really surprised to see her playing on here instead of one space up, which is very similar on the scoreboard but doesn't open this triple back. She could place this word one up here, which I think is a lot better positionally and probably doesn't even score that much differently. Um, yeah, that's sort of what I was hoping to see her play here. But yeah, your suggestion
It
of
scores the exact same, by the way, 16-16.
yeah, so without question, you want to slot this up. You don't want to give Walker an ability to hit the triple. But to your point, Jason, of
Yeah,
WAI,
she's rethinking, which
yeah,
I
she's
think.
thinking better of it. She has time this game, too. I actually think that way or Y in this spot actually makes it more annoying to hit the spot here just because certain plays that are lurking in the unseen pool, like vowel or growl or plays, I mean, growl, I would think is maybe the worst case scenario of what could Walker have in this pool that allows him to open space. If he plays something like this, keeping IN, this is really bad if you're Heidi. So this play cuts that off, right? WAL is not a word, and you are making it actually a lot harder to play something productively in this spot that opens. So I do like playing WAI right there. But if she's going to play over here, which I think is reasonable as well, just to really, if you're Heidi, you want to bingo again with these great bingo tiles, but you definitely also want to deny Walker the ability to bingo as well after his exchange. You pretty much know he's probably thrown VW back into the bag, meaning he has all these other good
Yeah,
tiles.
VU. She
So
played it there instead. Sim really liked on one spot up, by the way.
yeah, I think the reason it's so good is that the bingos that you get, yeah, you still do get a few bingos after on one space up, but they score so much less than they will now, either to the triple or, I mean, basically to the triple, right? So, yeah, maybe just a little bit of oversight there, but I actually really like that play you suggested of just way to the eye of Talliers.
Yeah, it certainly seemed like Sim liked those two. Liked on a little bit better, but certainly seemed like Sim liked those two plays the best. But again, looking at as we're simming, Heidi about 95-ish%, 93 to 95%, depending on what you choose here. She's still in quite good shape, and it looks like she drew the case S, which is also quite helpful here.
Yeah, love to see that from her POV. I would say also a nice thing about On, once you get that saved into the Quackle file,
Oh,
is that it's going to have 14 tiles unseen. So if Walker bingos now, it will be a bag emptying play. So that is maybe ever so slightly an argument in favor of On versus Way, because you have that assurance that by playing three tiles, your opponent is going to empty the bag, creating a perfect information situation where you
right.
can, potentially, you might be able to block anything that they have somewhere else and just cruise to a win from there in an end game. So yeah, either way, she's definitely in very very good shape at this point. But all right, let me see what do we got here. Morel. Okay,
Morale.
I can
Okay.
live with this. I can live with
Exactly. It's
this.
really hard to bingo through an M or with an O in that spot.
Yep. Um, so she can now play revision through the O of Morel if she thinks
There we
about
go.
that. If she's in bingo finding mode at all, she should be able to spot that. She might just be in defense mode or a different mode, but if she
Yeah.
thinks about that, there's no way she will not find revision, I think.
Yeah, but it's very easy to
Cha-ching.
he's in bingo finding mode. All right, it's very easy to miss a high prob bingo just because you're in defense mode, like you said. So,
Yeah.
but fortunately, Heidi does not fall into the trap, and she's about to to put a hammerlock on this game.
No hesitation. And really, what are we going to look at in this game that we disagree with? Maybe the exchange, going for the Q play, or on the positioning one space up. in every other way, this was like a masterclass. Like this might have been her best played game, and she played it very, very well. So this is very impressive performance here. Again, the game's not over, but for all intents and purposes, it is after this bingo. So this was a very, very nicely played game here for her.
Yes. Yeah, good question in chat, by the way, from Penumbra. Would be curious to know who that is. We talk about the case S, etc. Where does that come from? Seth seems to think it comes from Pinochle. I don't know if you have
Oh,
any insight
I have
in.
no insight into
Okay.
that. Yeah, that's interesting. Oh, look at this. This is not going to be enough for Walker. He's already down way too much, but this is going to cut his deficit quite a bit with this bingo, which is valid. And they're laughing about it, which is nice to see. So yeah, final score a little bit closer than actually it was pretty close most of the whole way. So
Mhm.
this score is appropriate to measure the closeness of the game, I suppose. But a really nice win there for Heidi, moving to 4-6, and this was again I broken record, but extremely well played.
Yes. Yeah. Like I said,
I started
don't really see any mistakes that she made. I mean,
you got 3 on your back.
on a bit of a miss that ended up allowing he could have played, I guess, unwired off of on. If she'd put it one up, it just would have been a few points more, or a few points fewer, I should say. But yeah, thought Heidi played this game really well. The Quay, seeing that end back hook, very very nice indeed. Got through the vowelitis there in the middle of the game. And really, so the funny part is she had those those racks with a bunch of vowels, but after even while having a three vowel rack at one point, she scored 39, 33, 30, and 42 on four consecutive turns. So was able to kind of play through that, and yeah, very nice win against a good player.
She's talking about on too. I think she's basically saying I didn't actually catch what she was saying, but she might have been debating where to play on and decided to play it where she did, just because her tiles were good, which is that's kind of on brand a little bit. She's just pedal to the metal, not worrying super much about Walker getting a bingo, and probably because she's probably still winning the game most of the time when that happens. But yeah, maybe that was an active choice to just try to open more space and get her follow up bingo um, hitting even harder. So in any case, um, nicely done. So they're putting in their bookkeeping. She is going to be playing David Stocco next. Who
Ooh,
that's
he
another.
was he was up there for a while. I'm surprised.
Yeah,
Very very good player. Windsor player. So he was a Detroit area player for a while. Kind of dropped off a bit, but I know that he was known for his incredible word knowledge when he was playing. As I was just starting and coming up. So no surprise that he switched to Collins, where you can play a lot more words, and he is a very very good player.
Yeah, I played him for the first time in a tournament last year, and he played some very low probability Collins only bingos against me, which I was like, damn, this guy is rocking some pretty solid word knowledge for sure. So that's something to look out for next game. Um, Definitely on his part. So yeah, it's going to be round 11 versus David Stocco. I'm probably interested in taking a short break before the next round, but we can see if Heidi wants to check in about this game so we can heap the praise on her that she is due for many, many great plays. Um, yeah, I mean, Hind among them, I didn't even see that hook, which I've missed before, like I said. So when she puts the earbuds in, we'll get to sit tight, chat. You can, there, oh, here we go. Earphones are coming in. Now is your chance, fans in the chat, to say your piece to Heidi, checking in between rounds. That was a really well played game. We're very very impressed here in the booth. Hopefully you are feeling good about it as well.
Oh yeah, it was a fun one for sure. Mistakes were made, but whatever.
Not really.
That game happened.
You know, normally we would try to soften the blow if there were actually any realistic mistakes, but I wouldn't say you really made any there. To be quite frank, it was just a very well played game. We were loving the end hook of Quay there. I didn't see that at all until you played it.
Yes.
That was fantastic. I'm sure you felt good about that one. Did you have any other plays that sort of gave you a good vibes to play?
What did you guys think of OES keeping BIII?
So Jason Heidi asks, what did we think of OES? And the answer is we actually really liked it. The only tweak that you could have made there was to play iOS instead of OES.
Oh, right.
That would have been it. But the idea of playing down
What
there,
was I playing on top of? Or underneath?
that was playing on top of something with an H, was it?
Hello, Heidi.
Yeah, it was Hind, Hynd.
I think you're first.
Oh, okay. So HI and I played HO?
Yeah, so you would have been playing HI and YO.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah, but the idea of playing there was not obvious, and we definitely were very happy with your choice to do that. So that was really good. It sounds like David might be there. Have you gotten a chance to take a break between this round?
David, hi.
Hello.
It doesn't matter. I'm ready to go. Am I first or second?
I think you're first.
You're first.
Yeah.
All right, well, if he's there, then you can get right back to it. But that was a lot of fun. We are loving how you played that game in the chat, and good luck in this one.
Are they hearing my audio while I'm playing?
Yes,
Well,
on
did
a
you-
low volume. And then I'm pumping you up during
Okay.
breaks. Yep, so they can hear you a little.
We were having some fun. Walker's great.
Yeah, we heard a little bit of the banter for sure. So, yeah. So, yeah, hope you have a great
Okay, awesome.
game,
See you guys.
and we'll catch up with you later. All right, there we go. Oh, right, we're not muting. We're just going lower. I will just quickly do a pit stop here, Jason, just because I shudder to think what will happen if I don't. But
Just who is going first?
it's Heidi going first. Heidi going first. Yeah. So I'll be right back, and we'll.
Everything is right. Yep.
We
If she gets started without you, I'll hold down the fort.
Yeah, it won't. It's not gonna take that long. I promise. I will practice good hygiene. Don't worry. It's all good.
And you push me to stop it. I think I'm 7.
Oh, you're number 7? I'm not doing very good record keeping.
Yeah, so as they're bagging the tiles, just want to thank everybody in the chat for joining us today. Gotten a couple nice comments. I appreciate that. We were talking about Spencer words yesterday. Did not realize that N hook to QUEY was one of those Spencer words. If you were here with us this morning, Will and I talked a little bit about that. Where if you see that in parenthetical in a definition, it probably means that the word hasn't been used in quite a long time. So, all right. So Heidi going first. She's going to draw.
I didn't do it right.
Oh, no, I don't know what's
What's happening here? Oh, the bag was on the table.
You were-
Okay, all good. I thought there was something weird with the board camera again.
You haven't missed anything, although probably would have been better off if you'd missed this opening draw. If it looks like what it. Yep.
Oh my God, another one, huh?
Although if
that's
you're
pretty
going to draw
brutal.
a 7-ball rack, just do it going first. You throw them back, and the only difference is that you go from 54 to 46 or whatever the number is in terms of going first versus going second.
Yeah, so it's when you're gonna draw a rack like this is the time to do it. Just dump, keep a couple good vowels. Let's see what she keeps. Probably AE, and then we move on. Yep, chains 5. So yeah, this is
So she kept AE then.
she did, yeah.
Okay.
So
All right. Yeah,
that's
that's usually one where I think most players would either throw them all back or keep an E. Certainly understand wanting to. You're throwing 2 A's back, so it's unlikely that you'll draw another one and gets you. Might help the next rack be a little bit more balanced. But I don't know what your opinion is on an opening that rack like that. If you're keeping an E or if you're just throwing them all back.
Yeah, so the thing about that is, as she draws unseats and a more obscure Collins anagram, which I think she will potentially be able to find here. If she doesn't, she has soutanes, among potentially other things, through the O's of Loom. So could be starting off on the right foot in this game if she spots those options. But one thing that our new Scrabble overlords at Woogles is teaching us, Jason, is that actually those vowel heavy leaves like AE or even things like AEI are actually a little bit better than we previously thought. It because
Oh.
I mean the evidence for that. Oh, she was so close. She had unsates lined up there. I bet she's gonna come up with it. Let's see. She seems so close. Yeah, so the evidence for that is the leaves that Woogles uses for Best Bot. A sort of a version of Speedy Player, I think, playing against Quackle Speedy Player, with the vowel friendly leaves won, like, I think 53% of the time. So definitely it feels weird because keeping those vowel heavy leaves doesn't feel great, but actually it's just the principle of it is just keeping good bingo tiles is a good thing to do, and your upside of playing a bingo is a little bit higher when you keep those multiple good bingo vowels together. Even though the downside risk of redrawing a bunch of vowels and being in a similarly rough situation is definitely there. So anyway, she is currently grinding away, trying to figure out, does she have a bingo here? And she does have them, and I feel like you can almost feel she's, oh boy, is she thinking about playing Auntless through the L of Loom? Oh man,
I was gonna say
she's
so much I want to say about your vowel heavy leaves thing, but yeah, she also has the what must be a Collins only 7 of Nasuts,
Yep.
Nasutes. Was not familiar with that one. Unseats, yeah, plays very nicely on top of Loom there. Yeah, Sutane looks like just those 3. Unseat.
Oh, there we
There we
go.
go. No, yeah, exactly.
She's
She's having a laugh
laughing.
about it.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
So it took a little time, but she got there. So this is the thing, right? Like, for those of us like myself that study the dictionary incessantly, I would see this word very fast as soon as it hits my rack. That is just the result of hundreds, thousands, millions, billions of hours spent on that task. And I feel like it's almost completely different how she just found that word compared to how I find my words. It's always, the goal is for me to just flash on it really quickly. That was actual anagramming, which I feel like goes by the wayside at some point. And look at her reward.
I know.
Look at her reward there. So, rewarded richly. Well, hold on. Maybe I just jinxed her. I was excited to see that blank as the first tile. Man, a lot of lopsided draws here today so far.
Yeah, I was gonna say if she loses this game, I'm gonna have to
Blaming me.
Hard way to call you out. Yeah, yeah. Like, you know how you saw the blank right away and then your rack went downhill? That was all Will. I also like the fact that you've been alive for about a billion, 1.5 billion seconds. I'm guessing, not knowing your exact age or remembering exactly how long a billion seconds is, and that you've already spent billions of hours anagramming, which for you I could almost believe. Uh-oh. So David has the other blank. Oh yeah. Well, when you have Anger's blank, you're gonna bingo a lot. So fortunate that that Heidi's unseats didn't give him too much coming back. So
Yeah, for sure. It is going to be tricky to come up with a play that she feels good about next turn, unfortunately. I mean, are we really looking at options like bunt or something through the U? Are we looking at Vant maybe through the A of unseats? Seems potentially a little bit better than that. Are we? Is that really what we're dealing with?
yeah, can that be anything other than a D? Will just
Not that I'm aware
sanity
of.
checking myself here.
And yeah, the lack of challenge makes me feel like for sure it must be a D. But you said you had thoughts about the vowel heavy thing. Obviously, that's no longer relevant based on the tiles we're looking at. But what were you thinking there
Yeah, see, these
response?
are the kind of racks I walk myself into because it's my personal opinion that there are too many vowels in the game. 42, 56. So it actually works out really nice that your quote unquote average rack has three vowels and four consonants. And yet there are a lot more bingos, and I haven't run the numbers on this. I probably should at some point with five consonants and two vowels as opposed to the converse of three consonants and four vowels. So, you know, given a choice, plus the fact that the consonants, some of them have crooked numbers at the bottom, given the choice, I will always leave consonant heavy as opposed to vowel heavy. Like I'm never leaving AE on that exchange. So it's actually kind of good to that Woogles is apparently challenging my preconceived notions of leave kind of leave strategy. Meanwhile, Heidi's played Van through the A and it unseats, and I don't know that there was a great way to get rid of three consonants there. Um,
Well, just tacking on the T,
and
right?
VH,
So
yeah,
so the question is, does she know that T or not? But oh, look at this. Does she have something like habitant? Not. I don't know if that's going to fit anywhere, unfortunately. But yeah,
Vant and Van very close statically, by the way.
yeah. I mean, if the trick is, does she actually know the T hook or not? Oh, look at that. The I comes into play. I don't think there's anything habitant, just not quite available. So she's close here to some good stuff, but I think maybe not quite there for a bingo just yet. So I'm not sure. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong about that.
You are, yes. So I'm just looking at the best plays. She's got the B hat, as I like to say it, set up. Can play Bath off of David's last play, making CH for
Yeah,
37,
that
which
looks
seems to be the star play here.
that looks great. Yeah, leaving T N blank. What could go wrong? Maybe. Um, yeah, and of
You are
course
really tempting fate this game.
I
Like you are
am.
just asking for
Yes.
her to play Bath and draw four consonants afterward.
And she will definitely watch this back and hear me say that and possibly get angry at the jinxing that I'm performing, but whatever. It's just coming naturally to me. So I thought she had it set up. I feel like she must see it, right? Just a
You had it
moment
set up
ago.
the H, yeah. I'm a
She's
little surprised.
yeah, so let's just zoom out and realize that with this rack, we know she doesn't have a playable bingo, but she can't know that. So she has to at least
Yeah,
think
got
a
the
little bit
O,
about this
I.
open O and U. There's definitely some vowels that are worth looking at. So I think probably she, if I'm going to guess, she sees this as her fallback option and a pretty damn good option unless there's a really, really good bingo like a 60-ish point bingo here compared to Bath for 37 leaving NT blank is already going to be pretty close. So basically if I'm in her shoes here, I'm looking for a bingo from or to the O, and if I don't see that in good time, I'm going to be pretty comfortable with Bath here, knowing it's got to be roughly as good as any of the bingos that I'm missing, if I am missing any. So that's probably what's happening here. But yeah, the time expenditure in this game I start to worry about, Jason, because unseats did not come down super fast. It was the right play, but it took 3 or 4 minutes to get to it.
Yeah, this is one where if you see that spot for Bath for 37, which is not 100%. Sometimes CH is not the easiest one to wrap your head around. I almost have to put out. I sometimes write on my score sheet Bath equals 37 because I'll spend 5 minutes looking for a bingo that isn't there, and then forget that I had this really good non-bingo play. But she has played it, and that is her best play for sure.
It is worth noting that this play definitely gives stuff back to David in the form of overlaps atop CH, which takes seemingly every vowel in the set. A, E, I, O. So, yeah, not the U, but it seems likely that David has at least one of A, E, I, O. And if he has the right consonants, this could be really damaging in addition to underlaps, too. So there's definitely stuff that can hurt going underneath. But all right, we have the E, which is really important because now any 7-letter word that you draw is going to play here, and at the very least thinned, definitely a word she's going to see quickly, as evidenced by her tiles forming quickly there. So pretty sure we're going to see that come down fast. Jason, is there anything else that she could find?
There's only one other bingo, so I will we'll leave that to chat and you to see if you can
Unhunted.
There you go, you got it.
Yeah, that's right, through the U of unseats, which has some merit to it just because you're putting the H in the good spot, but it opens up the triple, whereas thinned opens up precious little back to David. So I think positionally there is a good argument to be made for thinned. Thanks, Penumbra. Yeah, I'm going no quackle. Normally, I'm the quackler, but Jason and Brian this afternoon very generously taking on that role so I can do other stuff on the production side here. So any of my bingo finding is all natural today. But don't trust me on any other stream because I have the engine helping. So, yeah, for sure. So here it comes.
Just play thinned.
Yep.
Yeah, certainly seems that despite the 3-point sacrifice, that is the better bingo choice to unhunted.
Yeah, it looks good. And the funny thing now is David playing Oba, very nice underlap there for a pretty good score, in fact, on his previous play. But now there's a nice D hook here going down. That's probably it for this spot. And there still is this spot here. So depending on what the players draw, I guess there's also a giant X spot on unseats. So there's actually a lot going on as far as scoring. And oh man, we need a vowel. All right, there we go. The Y, and I think that's an E, is that last tile on the rack. Really saved things there. So, wow, AutoMod does not want me to allow Jelamokas to say pervy, but we support that here on this channel, no problem.
But it's a word.
Yeah, for sure it is.
22.
Also, twerpy in that spot off of the U and unseats as well.
Wow. So that's that seems like among the best case scenarios with so much openness and overlaps on this board for David to just be playing Ahi for a low score, 22. That's great, right? So now if Heidi can find a play here, I'm not sure there is one, but with something here, there's definitely some stuff here. I'm not sure if Peter is good enough to play when it leaves VYW, but something here is definitely going to be solid. So there's a lot of options here. I definitely like her chances to find some kind of good scoring play here. Is there what stands out, Jason?
Just the let me just double check. It was twerpy pervy, and I'm assuming that's still going to be the case. Interesting here that David could have gotten a lot more points out of these 3 tiles. Could have played JAI off of Gardens for 33, or AJI on top of the Lou in Glooms for, I believe, 27 or 28. So sacrificing some points to do this. I wonder if this is an H setup specifically, or if he just recognizes that with that right angle that Blooms and Gardens forms, that he needs to start working to open the board before it might be too late.
Yeah, that's definitely a consideration. He isn't down by super much, but you're right that the board is kind of closing up a little bit. Okay, so Pervy is the play. We definitely support this. This is a much better way than some of the other options. Certainly anything I saw here, you can score a lot of points here, but the leaves are really, really bad, and this avoids that problem. So, yeah, this is good. The E and R do offer a little bit of lifeline back to David, but I think she can live with that. So, yeah,
Yeah,
let's.
David's play did give her the potential for wavy, playing off the WVY, scoring 26 and drawing into Pert, which is quite a good leave. But I think any of the three twerpy. I actually kind of like Pervy a little bit more. Again, just not wanting to slot that T.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
I think any of the three are fine.
Agreed. Let me see if I can get the tiles to look a little better. I think I can. Where are they? Here. No, here. There we go. Nice. Okay, that's pretty good as far as the rack tiles. Ooh.
So I'm not sure how easy a fix this is, but David's record was not updated. You had to walk right 3 and 6 from the last week.
David's 4 and 6.
It's not an easy fix.
It's incredibly easy. I have 4 notepad files just sitting in a square on one of my monitors, and they are supposed to reflect all that accurate information. So it took no time. Also, David's name is not as long, so we're gonna fix that too, and move it a little closer. There we go.
All right. Well, while you do that, David playing Yuck from the CH, so dumping the YU for 24. Seems to be kind of struggling with the last 5 tiles we've seen him play are AIU JY. So certainly doesn't seem to be that close to a bingo, although maybe very close to a bingo, and just those handful of tiles getting in the way. Heidi can play WoW off of that A in Aji. Statically seems to be her best play.
Yeah, looks good.
For EWW, where does EWW go on this board for 31? Oh, on top of Glooms.
Oh, that's tricky.
Seldom seen EWW is an option here, yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Hey, Swanky Scope, nice to see you. So just as a little update, I have released a new YouTube video out into my channel today about the School Scrabble Championship, and I made a little pinned comment suggesting that if people are still jonesing for more Scrabble, they should come on over and watch the stream here today. So I'm not sure if, Swanky, if you're coming from YouTube, but if so, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, so worked on that during the nighttime this week. That was an amazing School Scrabble Championship, and now I'm finally able to get to all the MGI games that took place the very next week. So my backlog is almost done right before the summertime. Like, we got content's going to come from this tournament, and then of course Albany, SPC, Word Cup. It's a lot of content coming. So yeah,
it's a good problem to have, though.
It is. I mean, it's crazy to think, right? Like, it just feels like there's so. I mean, this is why the idea of Scrabble history was so crazy to me, is that there is such a rich competitive history of Scrabble that just isn't really reflected on YouTube anywhere. So I felt like, a couple years ago when I was thinking, how can I do something different with my content creation? It just seemed so obvious of like, Scrabble just lends itself really well to these types of breakdowns, and I had done a video like that before about Nigel, and the rest is history. So yeah, that's the idea, and it's the gift that keeps on giving, more content all the time. So WoW is the play. Yeah, so she deliberated a little bit about this, probably saying, I must have something better that doesn't open a triple and stuff like that. But this triple actually isn't so scary to open. The overlaps here aren't that scary to me. So this is, as far as like triple opening plays go, this is pretty safe, I would say.
Yeah. Quackle's sim gave a slight edge to EWW, but again, Quackle knows all the words. I don't. David has a better word knowledge than me. I'm ahead. Both blanks are out. I'm not really keen on playing EWW there and just, giving him a nice juicy bingo line that he might use later. So I think WoW is fine. Yes, that W might get hit, but I would rather he make some sort of play through that W for 30, maybe 39, 42, as opposed to maybe giving his bingo that I don't know a home. So
Yeah, it's interesting. If he plays something short off of this W, there is a decent chance that he'll put a consonant such as the P or the G in this spot that will allow Heidi to play an 8-letter bingo of uttered, right? She has uttered on the rack there, but doesn't seem like there's a place to play that right now. I just think there's a good chance that David, who is definitely incentivized to open the board at this score, he might make a spot for her either to play her 7-letter word or play an 8.
yeah, and so of course after I talk about the merits. Oh, I put the P in the wrong spot.
Oh, brutal. Nice play. So
If she had
fab.
played WW, she would have tutored right now, off of that line that she just created.
Oh,
So
wow. All right,
not
there you go.
try not to be too results oriented, but I feel like that does kind of contradict all the merits I was saying to the WoW play over EWW.
I've been scolded for that results-oriented thinking of taking 2 plays and saying,
Yeah.
what's going on here. Question of why are David's tiles not visible? This is just a POV stream of just Heroine to Birds. So we're sort of sweating the game from her perspective. We just have that camera, so we're all getting into her mind and try to sort of sweat the game from her POV, a little bit different from the norm of watching both players. So yeah, that's the idea there. Little different, so maybe an adjustment, but I actually feel like it's a lot of fun to sort of play the game from her POV, not knowing exactly what opponent has. It definitely mirrors, Jason, more of like how it actually feels to play Scrabble over the board.
Yeah, and it's certainly been a lot of fun. So, yeah, you were just talking about being results oriented. I have one of those stories that if Heidi, I don't think Heidi's going to be taking a long time on anything the rest of the game since she's down under 9 minutes here and a very difficult decision with a bunch of singles and the D and no playable bingos. But yeah, I've certainly fallen into that trap and I have a story about it from my most recent tournament that I can tell if. But yeah, it always seems whenever I'm between play A and play B, I seem to pick the one that if I had made the other one, I would have a bingo, and now I don't.
Yeah, it does feel that way, but is there a little bit of cognitive fallacy going
There
on
is
there?
cognitive bias in that. I recognize that.
I know, but I mean, we all remember those, right? So yeah.
I had more. I could have left blanky G or blanky P, and I left blanky G, which Quackle actually said was correct, but I drew the combination of tiles that would not have given me a bingo otherwise, and did the way I played it. So she's gonna play Etude, which I like. She had Deter, hooking the D to make Veined for 36. But I kind of like this. The RT leave obviously a lot better than the TU leave, as well as kind of blunting and blocking that line that David just created.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice idea. Get there before he does. Try to block the spot. Seems very reasonable. Drawing 5 tiles as well. Trying to get your hands on some more of the good tiles that are available. That last S would be nice. The Z would be nice. The Q would not be as nice, as long as she figures out a way to deploy it here. But that Q is going to be maybe tough to use on this board without some help. I'm not sure what that last letter is. Hopefully it's an S. Okay, that's all right. I guess I'm just curious how that Q is going to actually fit. But man, that's huge, right? That is definitely huge. That David is having to play sort of these low point plays like NOO. Nice play, but it doesn't score super much, so she's got to be happy to see that.
Yeah, Lester, one of those kind of underrated stems because it goes with stuff like the Z for seltzer and the V for svelter. It goes with basically everything except, ironically, another E. As a Pittsburgh football fan, somehow a Steeler with the Steeler has not made its way in yet. So yeah, so certainly statically, throwing the Q back by itself is an option. But again, this board pretty tight, which again is good for Heidi as somebody with, as I update the score here, a 46-point lead. So yeah, tricky spot here because there really isn't much, if anything, you can do with that Q. Yeah, there's literally no Q play on this board. So do you try to play through it? If you exchange, what do you exchange into? This is a complicated spot, and Heidi's time now under 6.5 minutes as David has been kind of putting her under time pressure here.
Yeah, it's true. I would think that exchange Q feels like it hits this O enough, right? So I'm just thinking about stuff like, what are the common draws? A, E, oleaster, slow tree, trolleys with an I. So all the
Yeah,
draws that are Solaret with two L's, there's just so many things that if you just ditch that Q, you're going to bingo and put the game pretty much out of reach unless David plays one right now. So there's definitely a lot of upside to dumping the Q. I could easily see trying to play through just because she feels like her lead is a little bit tenuous and she wants to keep scoring so that she goes up by enough. But there you go. It's a trade one. She's bracing herself. I mean, even the Z, right? The Z, normally a tile you hate to see for bingoing, gives her seltzers off of the S of Gardens.
Yep.
So, yeah, this is definitely. Oh, let me get the standings here. I forgot to pin those today. So here are the standings for Collins, and on cross tables you can get. Oh, look at that! So blocking the O, which is tough timing there. Does she have anything else? That G, reglets, I don't think that's going to fit anywhere. Let me get these standings here.
Yes. No, nothing playable, although he did just kind of kill a bingo line. This is such a weird spot in terms of you have the lead, but yet it almost looks like you have better bingo tiles and your opponent who's behind is kind of closing the board. Also worth mentioning, 6 I's unplayed, as well as 4 E's, 3 A's. So we have a very consonant-heavy pool, somehow more consonants than vowels, or more vowels than consonants unseen. Very, very rare at this point in the game. So, boy, really, really tough, really weird spot. Statically, Quackle seems to like just playing gel off of
with
making
Yod.
Org and Yod. So gel for there, I don't mind it. That leave is so good given the vowel heaviness of the pool and all those I's and A's left. The downside is that it does not score much, but she might be able to use that G later. Your thoughts?
Yeah, 2 consonants. Yeah, I was going to say she drew the M, right? So gel in this spot is a little scary just because if David has the M or even a D, he's hitting a hook and opening the board further for himself for a pretty good score. So it's possible that maybe playing with, I guess the H's are gone, maybe you would deliberately play get, keeping your L, so that if you draw an A, you can now play something with Yodel and Ada down the board. Something like that might be more reasonable on that turn. But yeah, she's drawn the D, which is, so she drew DM. The D is a big draw here for this spot for sure. So I think she's definitely thinking about that.
I think you got to blow it up, but boy, when you blow it up and you draw 3 eyes, which is possible given this pool, you feel really bad about life. But yeah, if that spot stays open, I think you have to take it and roll the dice.
Yeah, no question. It's a little bit scary for sure, but you do it just because it scores a lot and has a little bit of blocking properties as well. If you play it here, now all of a sudden 8-letter bingos that might have played off of this S are just barely blocked. Maybe not always. There is going to be another S here. Could we see a 9-letter insertion bingo here? Possibly, but a lot of the time, those plays are not going to fit. So yeah, I think that's definitely what she wants to do. But yeah, 27-point lead feels simultaneously pretty good, but also really scary because if
Yeah.
David manages to get a bingo here, or maybe something with an A, she's looking at a really tough board, and a a deficit where you kind of have to bingo to get back if he gets one. So
Yeah.
nervy game here for sure.
But again, this is a very weird unseen pool. We have 27 unseen tiles. Should be correct from Heidi's point of view. Um, 15 vowels and 12 consonants, which you almost never see. And 3 of those consonants are the Q, the X, and the Z. So when you pull DM, like, it's frustrating, but it's always the time where I remind myself the vowels are either coming here or he's got to deal with a 5 or 6 vowel rack, or maybe both. So so just kind of reminding yourself that you're in a really good spot given what your leave is compared to this unseen pool for the rest of the game. So and the other good news is they're really, other than that, Z off of the E and Pervy, really not a good home for a lot of these. And so he's playing Icer, which makes me think that all of this clunk has to be in the bag, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely coming. But the nice thing about Derms is you go into next turn leaving 2 consonants. Like, that's just what the doctor ordered. And now Derms even better because it cuts off the R out in space. There's no bingoing through this R anymore. So not only are you dramatically outscoring David's previous play with Derms, you're also really locking the board down, keeping your 2 consonants, trying to draw into this super vowel heavy bag. She has played it with the speed that is due. A play like that, given the time on her clock, she played it super fast. Let's see what she gets.
But
Ooh, Rattler.
at the single, okay, so he's definitely not bingoing now. I mean, I can't imagine. I'll update the unseen pool in a sec, but this unseen pool is not bingoing, especially on this board.
Yeah.
Even with somebody of David's word knowledge.
Yeah, what do
What
you
do you
even
think about
what
the
are you
other option
drawing
there?
here?
Was meld through the E in Icer, because she did have that was the case S, correct? Yeah. So then you draw the Z, you've set up Zest there, you draw the X, maybe Exist with one of those many eyes, etc., etc. I think Derms is right. It's too bad that I couldn't sim that one to that Heidi didn't have more time and take a, she played Derms instantly, which is I think what she should have done. But I think Meld is worthy of mention. So now, fortunately, David has found the Z and is weaseling his way back into this game with Lazier.
Yeah, that's going to be good for him. So Heidi up by 50, but this is going to close most of the gap. So now she's in a tough spot, not necessarily having a bingo. I would be very concerned in her shoes to play something like Rattler, which normally looks really good to block the E and R and give very little back, just a super specific R. I guess there is no P or any hook to Rattler. So something like that normally looks great, but now the score is so close and David could have QX. But I guess maybe that's still the right play so that you can try to get your hands on that stuff. There is a Q spot here now. So yeah, this is kind of brutal. She just doesn't have that much time to think it over. I guess I'm feeling like you also empty the bag if you play Rattler, so there's definitely
6 in the bag. I don't think that Rattler emptying on the number is probably really bad, especially in this pool where you could draw like eyes and David has that Q spot. X also goes there.
So what do you even do though?
Thing is, not much. Yeah, do you block the spot? But then what happens when you draw it? You know?
Yeah, do you just play like TEERS if you know that word? That is a valid word. Is this, I mean, that's kind of nice because you would be leaving ALRT, which doesn't really have any duplicate. Well, there's a duplicate L and A, but the I pairs well with it. So this is pretty brutal. Jeez.
Sim is really liking AR between the C and M and the E and S there.
Just
Yeah,
AR
you
right
saw her
here.
kind of shake her head as she hit the clock. Yeah, she plays the RT46, and she knows it's probably not right, but this is such a weird spot.
It's
Even
not
in
the worst. I don't think that's the worst idea though, because
no, I don't think it's bad at all. I don't
sh-
think it's bad at all.
she's got a good chance of hitting this with it like an eye draw or something like that. There we go. I don't think she necessarily hit anything. She has Eurolite, but the thing I like about it is that you answer plays like this with a bingo often and just, finish the game off. But now, yeah, she's definitely in a bit of a pickle because he scored enough to outrun her there. So I wonder
You
what can
just
she do?
maybe fish off the U between the C and the M there
You could do
on the
that
detail and try to hit, but again, this board is so bad.
if I could fish my A right here and know that I wasn't going to get hammered on this spot, it might be reasonable just because this takes an L and a T and an R hook, but maybe you don't hit enough after that. You don't hit the I, so that's probably not good enough. Um, yeah, this is pretty brutal. So, oh man, she's just going for the X maybe? Ilex, if she
Maybe.
draws the X, she threatens massive Ilex?
Maybe, and maybe with the backup plan of being going through that T.
Or up high.
And
Oh,
he drew EI.
doesn't
Darn it.
draw it. Yikes.
That's pretty much one of the worst draws you could see coming there.
Yeah, so we could easily see the X just get played, and that's brutal. She doesn't. I mean, she did actually set up a tough situation for David where if he had the X, he might not be able to play it knowing he's going to get out bingoed on, but unfortunately for her, that hasn't happened. So, man, this,
Yeah, you might still, depending on what's in the bag, notice that I don't think there's any 4-tile plays you can play across there, and it's not like you can slap down axe in that spot and feel good about it.
Yeah, this is brutal the way this one is unfolded for sure. Um,
I
many,
would be
many
very
tough
curious
moves.
in the end game to hear what the last tile in the bag was here. I'll try to remember to kind of hang back. I can't hear
Yeah, we'll
the
make sure to ask.
ambient audio, so I'll try to get better in these next couple games about kind of hanging back and letting people be able to hear that and not talking over it.
Oh, no, it's totally fine. I don't think we missed anything like that. But yeah, we're not seeing a play immediately, probably because David has to triple check and double check. Am I giving anything? So Axe is there. He's going to have Logier and Rax in the end game and no bingo for Heidi. So very brutal.
I had not updated the unseen pool from Heidi's perspective. My mistake. So
Oh,
he
no
actually
worries.
his rack is a little clunkier, but since Heidi doesn't have a bingo, he will he'll get out of this with the win.
Got it.
All right, so it should be correct any second. So it's basically gold with 2 eyes.
Okay, so no out for him, but still definitely the lead. I mean, he just drew, QX. Maybe if she draws one of those two, she can withstand
Yeah.
the scoring situation. But yeah, her tiles are just too low point. And let's see what she elects to do. Just plays liar, leaving Ilya. Not sure if there's another out.
358.
Yeah, could have, Learier earlier, but again, very short on time.
Did you have 276?
Certainly one for playing faster early and kind of hoarding the time for the pre-end game and end game, because this one was certainly very complicated. And certainly when you talk to her afterward, I would certainly just kind of emphasize that, I would probably need to look at that position for at least 5 minutes before I had a good idea what to do, and then I'd probably still mess it up.
Still
in
mess
some-
up. Yeah.
Yes, he should not feel badly, about letting this lead kind of get away from her, because
28,
was
30, 37. Okay, so I'm off by 2, so
Uh,
that would give you 360.
where did he go? Where is he going?
They
Is he here?
are, yeah, they're just recounting the score right now.
Yep, I agree.
They're doing
Oddly
a,
enough,
a score
I just
check.
noticed.
190?
Yeah, this play has allowed Godlier as the extension of Liar.
Oh, nice. Um,
258.
Don't think it's the best one though. Yeah, definitely want to block. Ilya is her only out, so
Yeah.
definitely want to block that.
320.
He'll
But yeah,
probably
this was
come up with
really.
that.
I just took had a in my last tournament. I took about with 3 in the bag. I took at least 10 minutes on one play. Made the play. Quackle championship player actually agrees with the play, but I still hate it. It was one of those where he has the exact 7 tiles to score 95, and I'm never winning the game anyway. But it was one of those like, oh, what if he has this bingo? What if he has this bingo? Can I outrun it? Can I block it? It's just, it's those situations are hard even when you have 10 minutes to look at it. When you have 6 minutes to play the rest of the game, they're basically impossible.
Yeah, there's no question that it's not linear in general. There might be some early game positions that are super complicated and take time, but in general, the distribution of time in Scrabble, not a straight line from point A to point B. Definitely those end game positions can require significantly higher time investment to get correct. So you really do want to sort of not, speed through the early game at a huge cost to your overall performance, but you want to try to leave yourself that time. And I'm impressed, Jason, that you had 10 minutes to use on a pre-end game play, because I feel like I'm never in that position.
Against a fast player, too. I was so proud of myself, too. I was like, you played fast early, you've given yourself the time. I was so proud of myself, and then a 95-point bingo hits the board and I lose, and it was also not.
Yeah, I still, to be in that position, I give you kudos for sure. And hello to Kalamanchi in the chat. Thank you for stopping by. So, yeah.
I do have to point out right above that, Evan says that Jason still hasn't lost yet, and that is correct. I am undefeated here on stream. Haven't missed one yet. Sorry.
I'm sure he's referring.
I couldn't let that joke go by.
He must be referring to Jason in the standings here with a 10.5 wins and only a tie. That must be what he's talking about. But yeah, very nice performance by Jason Keller for sure. He still has a ways to go, as do all of us. We are right about, I think, as this game concludes, we'll have reached the halfway point of the tournament. 22 rounds in total, and we are wrapping up round 11 here. So yeah.
We got a lot of undefeated Jasons, most notably Jason Keller, and I should clarify that I knew that that's what Evan meant, but. You have me undefeated here on commentary, and co-director and tournament organizer Jason Broersma also undefeated. So a lot of undefeated Jasons this weekend.
Yeah, I think we have one more before lunch break hits here. So yeah, we will not be cutting to any kind of break. Looks like she's rolling her eyes and laughing about the way this game is unfolded here, which, she got into that horrible purgatory of this in-between. And he's going to allow Ilya to go out. Yeah, he's
going to play Lloyd, which blocks the one, but yeah, it gives her another, so.
Yeah, but to no avail, as it is going to be David's win here. But Jason, she got into that, tweener area of having all those low point tiles but no bingo, which is so agonizing, right? Like, she went that route. If she would have drawn a bingo, would have been just fine. If she would have drawn the X or the Q, that also would have been fine. The worst case scenario is having all those low point tiles, no bingo to go with it, and your opponent just death by 1,000 cuts you.
Yeah, and he was pointing at the Q on top of the I and lazier. I wonder if he played lazier and drew the Q. So hard to play that with the Q out. But maybe he correctly assumed it was in the bag based on Heidi's previous plays. Would be very curious to hear this post-mortem. I'm not sure if we can or not.
I'll pump him up.
I don't know. I just made some very, very bad decisions near the end.
That was a good one. That was a good play.
Yeah, but...
I wanted to bingo one more time. I could not pull that off.
Yeah.
then I thought I was just going to drown in odds. So,
Anyway, good game.
thank you. Okay, so I'll do this part.
I'm so embarrassed for myself.
Shouldn't be at all. She says I'm embarrassed, but she definitely should not be.
No.
Oh, because you thought.
No, just
It
because
could-
the end was like just a train wreck.
Oh, because you ran out of time. That's probably complicated. Yes.
I just no, I made super bad decisions. Like anyway.
Oh, you mean the fishing?
All of it. Yeah, it's terrible. Okay,
Well,
what did?
And you were 22?
24.
24. Okay, and so.
Racking up my last.
41. Okay.
Thank you, David.
I don't know. Could have gone either way.
I guess it. I mean, if I hit, anyways, whatever. Still, I deserve to lose. Totally. Like that was just terrible.
Way harsh. We have to pump. We have to. Everybody in the chat. We need everybody to do a little combined pep
You're gonna
talk
have to
when she
find
puts the
ways to soften
headphones
the blow
in,
there. I don't know,
because
like,
she's
"Hey,
way
did you
harsh
notice
on
I was
herself
like
right
behind
now.
the scenes? Like, of
Aw.
course, distracted.
Well, who's
No, that's
watching
when
all
she
this?
shouldn't feel bad about losing.
Yeah,
She's a
definitely.
great player, and
Oh, I don't know. Just a bunch
you
of-
know, those spots at the end were really hard. I
Yeah.
still don't know
Oh,
what
I
you
see.
should
Oh,
be
so
doing when
not-
you
not
play Gel. I
necessarily
still don't know
people
what
you
you
know.
should be
Oh, yeah,
doing when
yeah,
she
no,
played Root. Like,
definitely people.
and
know.
David,
okay.
you know, did a
So,
really
like,
good job
those
of
comments.
running her clock and putting that time pressure on her. So, yeah, 100%. You know, definitely pump her up, chat. That was not a game she should be embarrassed about by any means.
Well, that would make me nervous. I guess. It's
Yeah,
all that
for
it makes me
sure.
nervous.
Yeah, it doesn't make me nervous.
Okay.
Thanks, David.
All right, headphones coming in. All right, here we go. She's got the headphones in. We first order of business is that you are being way too hard on yourself for that game. That was definitely not as bad as you're indicating. I'm serious. Look at her laughing at me, laughing at us all. But it's true. I mean, those decisions at the end of the game, you were in a really tough spot with all those low point tiles.
So embarrassing at the end.
It wasn't that embarrassing. All you had to do was draw a bingo and you win the game. And there was really good chance of you doing that. So it's not. I don't see. You know, it really wasn't as bad as you're
Beer
suggesting.
with breakfast.
So yeah, a lot of good vibes coming your way from the chat. Again, of course, definitely echoing Evan's comment right before Penumbra. And yeah, you got to not be that hard on yourself for that one. There were other games that were much more like when you played phonies and whatnot. This was not even close to that. And you actually made a whole bunch of good plays in the game. So no self-flagellation. Okay?
Yeah. I seriously can't believe I played Yums yesterday. Like, I totally know that's not a word.
Well, yummies is a word, right? So that's what's so goofy about it. Why would this be a word, right? And yum not be. So anyway, yeah, it was just one of those games. You could have drawn the X or the Q, and things would have been way different for you. And you get another game before lunch, and in all of your games of your last game of the session, you've done something pretty amazing. So hopefully you keep that trend alive in this next game.
Who am I playing?
You are playing Alan Abella, and you are going first. So that's going to be round 12 for you.
Wow,
And
that's a lot of firsts in a row.
we did want to ask Jason, who cannot hear you right now, but I'm the interpreter who can hear both of you, wanted to ask what the last tile in the bag was, and I guess it must have been an I or something like that, right? Or I guess we mostly want to know, did he have the X when he played his Q, and did he have the Q when he played lazier?
You can't see me. David.
Oh, you're trying to ask him? Oh, don't worry if you don't. You don't have to. We were just curious. If you knew.
No, I want to ask him.
All right, cool. Jason, she's asking. She's bringing David
They
back.
They wanted to know. Did
Yeah,
you
it was
have
not
the
that
X when
important
you played the
to
Q?
know.
Yes.
Yes, he had both. Was there something else?
No, that's all.
Oh, the last tile of the bank. Did I pick it or?
I was terrified of the cue. I had to dump it. It didn't matter whether there was a better X play.
Okay, okay.
Because
Yeah.
like, that was my only cue play that I
Okay,
could see.
okay. So what was the last tile? Did you draw the last tile? Or did I? I think it was you.
Yeah, it was me. It might have been an L or something.
Oh, okay. Not an I though.
No, it wasn't another I.
Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah, I had to dump the cue.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't really waste any time.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was like,
for
it's
sure.
going there.
For sure. Like, yeah. Okay, good game.
All right,
Yeah.
thanks for that. So yeah,
And
it
the last
was,
tile was not an I, like an L or something.
yeah. So yeah, you were super super close to getting that bingo that would have prevented him from winning with the X play that he had, and what more can you say? I thought it was definitely a very reasonable approach that you took
Okay,
there.
but tuna was super bad though.
Well, you had no time at that point. So, I mean, you had to make a forcing play where if you draw bingo and he has the X, you're going to win. And if you draw the X and he doesn't have something, he's in a bit of a bind because you have ILEX. So it made a lot of sense. Try to do something, decisive with not that much time on the clock. So, yeah, it definitely made sense from our perspective. So you can't be hard on yourself. We're loving it. We are very happy with what we're seeing here, and I'm sure you're going to have a great game to finish things off.
My opponent's not here yet, I don't think.
All right, so you want to take a break?
Alan who? Is it A-L-A-N or A-L-L-E-N?
Yes.
Or?
A-L-A-N. Abella. I don't know who that is either, so hopefully you figure out who it is and get to meet a fun new person.
Do you know what player number he is? Does it say that stuff?
He is player number 28. He was unrated. And his portrait is a big question mark. So, yeah, why don't you go take a break and then find him?
Okay.
And then we'll catch up with...
clues there.
Yeah, so we'll catch up with you when you find him and get started.
I was gonna say, in that vein, I think I'm gonna take a quick break myself. So should be back in time for the start of the next game. But if I'm not, see if you can muddle through the first turn or two without me.
Definitely. All good.
Okay,
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Good to meet you.
Okay, looks like she's found Alan there. Jason's saying he's going to take a short break, and that's totally fine. I don't think they're going to get started immediately. And we'll be ready when they are ready to rock. So, yeah. I'm trying to, Zev, what I'm doing is during the breaks, I'm adjusting the volume much, much louder to be able to hear her. But during the games, it's a little bit lower so that they're not drowning us out as the commentators. So I'm just trying to tweak it. But it seems like most people are able to hear somehow. So, yeah. So, all right, this is going to be it. Last game before lunch. I don't know much about her opponent here, Alan.
Yes, but this is your first time in Collins? Or what?
No, my first time in North America.
Ah, okay.
Switzerland.
Yeah, that's
Wow. That's where he's from? Oh, my gosh. I didn't realize that. That's epic that he's come all the way from Switzerland to play on North American soil. That's really cool to see. I don't know much about his game, except as an unrated player, he is still logging some wins in Division 1, which is pretty impressive. So we'll just see, we'll get a feel for his play as we see the two of them get started in just a minute. So, yeah, if they get started super fast, I can always start to update the scores and stuff like that. But I'm sure Jason's going to be back shortly. It occurs to me I'm actually somewhat annoyed by the letting of this. There we go. Cool. That's better. So here we go. Heidi going first. Let's see what she gets. Oh, man, we could have told her. Oh, I think actually we can. Oh, no. The rack camera is not that good. Let's hope for the best, because this is going to be tough to see. Maybe she'll move it and realize that it's slightly off, but yeah, it's going to be really tough to see at this level. I think she taped the rack down, but clearly the camera has moved. If she taped it down and we're still experiencing this, that's probably why. So, unjoin. So I think this is a phony that I've seen before. It must have been unjoin F. I'm pretty sure this is a phony, if I'm not mistaken. Unjoined is a word. So we'll see. Alan, I feel like this would be a good one to challenge. But yeah, so hey Jason, we're just getting underway. Unjoin F was her tiles here, and
Unjoin F. Oh yeah, she should be playing Fuji and not the phony.
Yeah, for sure. I fully expect this to get challenged. She's moving it around. Maybe the gambit of. So is he gonna challenge? Let's see. Let's look at the clock. If it gets neutralized here, or is she gonna get away with a fast one, which looks like a very good play if it stays on the board. A little bit of a risk, of course.
Well, she's reaching for the bag. As soon as that tile comes out, I can commit this.
Yeah.
And there it is. So she got away with one.
Looks like no consideration to hold by Alan. It does look like a word, right? It looks quite like a word, and unjoint is a word. We're going to see if that hook comes into play. I wonder if she's going to look over and see. So she has like a little monitor that just shows the board and yes. Good. Close.
Is that an I or a T there? I can't.
It is an I, so it's A. Yeah, she has Golfiana. She has FGLIAAO. So that one of the goofiest.
Okay, I put unjoin in the wrong. Yeah, I put unjoin in the wrong spot, so I just got to back up here.
Oh, all right, no big deal.
And play Jin here. Play that. Update the score. And then that's FGLIAAO?
Yes.
Okay.
So this would be the ultimate
Oh yes, Golfiani.
complete random thing for her to know. It actually plays through both ends of unjoin. I could easily see her somehow knowing this, even though it's incredibly low probability. But that being said, we should all not necessarily expect it, because it is way down the list of words that you quote unquote should know as a Scrabble player.
I was hoping, and thanks to chat for asking for the definition on that, which I figured somebody would, just golfing items, which is kind of boring. Because yeah, I was like, is this like the it sounds like, a golf company in Indiana, like, like the golf tourism industry of Indiana, Golfiana. It did sound like something you just made up, but I know that your word knowledge is such that that you would that is actually a real word. So today
Yeah.
I've learned. But,
So
in the non-Golfiana, could blow it up by playing loafing or fulling through that N, the first N in unjoin, fa'ing similarly. So yeah, nothing really stand out apart from Golfiana.
Yeah. Oh, there goes the G and the F in front, but I don't think that's going to be enough. Nice to see you, Weibin. Thank you for hanging out with us as long as you have. And if you wake up and you can't sleep, we'll be here waiting for you. I don't know how anybody could sleep with this stream going on, but I guess you figured out a way to do that, and kudos to you on that for sure. So, with that, all right, we're going to see a loft.
Oh, it was a T. Oh, so it was a T. She didn't have golf.
Oh, you were right. Okay, sorry about that. You were right after
That's
all.
all right. No, it was the rack is kind of cut off at the top, so
Yeah.
Another hazard of in addition to E's and F's and all sorts of stuff looking alike. Now the I and the T look alike when we can't see it on the top there. So.
And it looks like a nice overlap here. Lumped. That's very nice with those extra overlaps, scoring a bunch of points. So I'm going to look carefully at her tiles as they come there. All right, there we go. Ganoids. finds its way onto the rack. Actually, Doting's is also valid in Collins. That would be a tough one to know for sure through the T of Loft. Yeah, so we'll just see. The crazy thing is we did not see Alan challenge unjoin, which means if she sees Ganoids on her rack, she'll play it here with him, what she thinks is impunity maybe, but maybe he decides to challenge the hook, right? Like he might say to himself, all right, I wasn't 100% sure of it before, but now I'm going to challenge it. And all right, here we go. So this is she going to play it with the hook? Because she can play it with the overlaps, right? But why would she? Oh, so the crazy thing about this is, could we see Alan challenge Ganoids but not unjoins?
I don't know if you do that. My goodness, that'd certainly be interesting. Clock neutralized, so.
So we're gonna get a challenge here.
If they come back, and it's very interesting to see whose clock. No, it'll be on Alan's, but.
Just remember, he did not challenge unjoin.
And didn't, like you said, didn't really give it much consideration. Now,
just
Heidi's perspective is that Dotings and Ganoids, very, very difficult to imagine a situation in which both of those are blocked.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
That even if this comes off, that she will bingo next turn. So this will be very interesting, but.
I think he just challenged Ganoids.
Ganoids are not unjoined. Oh my goodness.
Oh. Wow.
My.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So she... That's fantastic. I feel bad for Alan.
I feel terrible for laughing at Alan.
Yes, I feel bad. Believe me, yes, I'm realizing that as I'm laughing. But objectively speaking,
I know it's still objectively.
That is pretty funny that she has just gotten away with it, big time. She can't keep getting away with it, as they say. But she has here. It looks like she's drawn IVYYOHR. So. Okay. Just wondering if, maybe I wanna...
Yeah, I don't know if this is worth you saying, hey, can you...
It's not, but you know what I'm gonna do is, while it's cut off, I can kind of help it be a little better. So what I'm gonna do is this. I'm gonna make a new... Alright, Vogue, ugly tiles, for sure, for Alan to dump. I have an idea.
Interesting that he didn't play vague up above. I assume that's just a miss. But...
Oh yeah, that's right. That's interesting. What did I just do here? Whoops. I have what should be a great idea, but I just need to.
Meanwhile, if while you
struggle to execute my idea, yes. All right, here it is.
I was trying to be nice and saying while you work your magic. If assuming that that Heidi has the tiles we think she does, Ivory hooking the R to Vogue to make Voger the star play here, scoring 48 and leaving HY.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah, I think she'll probably see that. But then not be 100% sure of Voger. Vogie is also valid, too. I don't know if she's going to know that one. But yeah, that's kind of a tricky hook that you could see her know one, both, or neither of those with the sureness that she would need to actually play it. All right, let me try this. Read from file, browse, desktop, rack. And then we're going to make this font Scrabble font. Yes, everybody, I have a Scrabble font. So now we can have this really small, but then show the actual tiles right underneath it while it's cut off. There we go. See, this is my idea. So Hopefully that's helpful. So when we
Oh,
catch a glimpse of it, I will just update this text file with it, and we'll be able to see what she has.
that would be very beneficial, especially because I'm usually inputting the previous play
Yeah,
and occasionally remembering to update the score while I do so.
right. So I'll see if we have the top of it. No, it's cut off. So we'll see. Maybe it's not necessary. Okay, she plays very potentially not 100% sure of the hooks
Yeah,
to Vogue,
probably not 100% on poker.
and if you're not going to be sure of that, this is actually a pretty solid play because it also blocks some of the hooks on Vogue that you might know, like the D and S. And Alan is going to
Yeah,
play.
the D that Alan had, if he was planning on going there, maybe playing MAUD in that spot. So
Oh, it's an X. She's drawn an X. There. I think her tiles are this now, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't see anything that looks like I don't see anything with an 8 subscript.
There, it is the far left tile. If you look very carefully, you can kind of see that it is an X. See it there?
I'm seeing WHYAAEO. Oh, there it is an X. Okay, the one on the far left. You're right. You're right. See, that's why we're doing this. Very nice. Thank you.
So yeah, that X, it is there, sneakily.
Love that we're innovating like as well. I say we, meaning Will is innovating like as this is happening.
Well, I've done it this way before, so I was able to fall back on this. There have been times when the rack cameras are really not nearly as clear, so you gotta, improvise. And this was the way we decided to do it. So, with this X here, does she have a really good place? I feel like there's also a nice spot for the Y right here. You could easily see Y. I mean, YAW is probably too risky with all the hooks, but it's going to score quite a lot. Not sure if there's anything through here either. Probably not.
Yeah, your best YAW or YAH. Those are kind of performing really well statically, and then I start simming, and they fall down pretty quick. So. Looks like walks into the first N in unjoins.
Oh, that's definitely safer. Yeah, that looks safer.
That seems to be the best one, but she will keep it.
Oh, setting up her O if she draws
Yeah.
something good. That's kind of cool. She needs to draw a hook to Ya, which would be an R or the P. Oh, he's going to challenge. So she's going to get another extra 5 points for this, which is valid. And then I guess we see if she draws either an R or a P, she will be able to at least play something like Aura in this spot or Opa. But maybe she'll draw something even better if she picks one of those tiles. So, interesting choice. Of course, Alan could himself have an O and those tiles, and she would regret opening this spot to him. But in the absence of playing Waxen or something like that, there is a good logic to it, Jason.
Yeah, Quackle, likes playing it straight with Waxen, but it certainly sees what she's trying to do here, and that I think that was the fourth or the fifth best play, maybe even third. So yeah, not bad at all. A very very clever idea, very creative, and I kind of like it. You're ahead by 100 points now. Would have been 101 if he hadn't challenged. 106 now. That's not a spot that he's going to bingo ending in O or maybe OR. Sometimes you get hit something like that. But yeah, you're worried about bingos when you're ahead by 100 as how your opponent comes back, and not really that many high scoring bingo spots on this board. So it looks gutsy, but again, I love creating hooks when you got hooks. That's what my most frequent opponent Jeff Fishbane loves to say. Jason never opens up a hook unless he's got a hook. So I love opening up hooks when I got the hook. So big fan of this play.
Yeah, I would say it's not exactly like, oh, did I lose you? Oh, yeah, I changed. Okay, hold on. I messed up. This is me. I'm going to get Jason back. Watch this. He's going to come back miraculously. There we go.
Didn't even know I was gone. Now
yes. Yeah, well, we could hear you the whole time. I just changed my Zoom window. So there we go. We got you back. It's all good. We can see the rack, hopefully, even though it's slightly cut off, and we should be
What
good
did you
to
have
go.
in that space before? Chat might want to see that instead of my face.
I just just a blank blue background with the little gradient of Scrabble tiles behind it. So probably they want to see your face smiling and cheering
I find
on
this very
Heroin to
difficult to
Birds.
believe.
Best pointing out that Ixora
Alan
was.
actually had Orf. Alan actually had Orf in that spot that she just created. It would have been 47. Those tiles that he used.
Oh, true. Those same letters. Oh my gosh. So to your point, those same ORF, right? These three letters. Wow. That's a bit of a bullet dodge. He had the perfect tiles to really capitalize, but now the spot stays open, and she gets to consider what she wants to do with the X still in hand. So I guess I'm looking around, and again, I'm not seeing anything that makes me feel excited, but yeah, this is all right. This is actually pretty good.
Fine. Yeah, that's actually I think best. Highest statically is Axis hooking the S to lump to make slumped. I suppose you could play XIS and set up the A. But yeah, this is actually statically this is second best to Axis, and obviously a lot safer. So nothing wrong with this play at all.
Yeah, agreeing that with Evan in the chat that the X just you can't really see a good place to play it on the board. So why save it needlessly? So all right, we now have looks like AIGRSTW if I'm not mistaken. Although the G comes before I in the alphabet, so I have now fixed that. So all right, there we go. So
Yeah, that's a really good point by Evan too. There is that I tend to kind of hoard those power tiles even when the board maybe is not amenable to that, and probably will not be amenable to cashing in the X for 40 or more in the near future. So yeah, recognizing that look, I'm not going to get much out of this X. This spot is open and potentially dangerous. So she's going to play what hooking to rip to make trip.
yeah, wondering why not grip in that same spot with wag, but maybe a reason we're not grasping.
I got the score wrong because I put rip hooking to lumps to make clump. So that's
Yeah, I'm noticing that after one of these challenges, we might have seen a full clock reset here. I'm curious as to why and how is it possible that they have this much time
yeah, they're not playing that fast.
left on the rack. The blank in this font is disgustingly non-Scrabble. Whoever made this font, big fail. So yeah, but very good draw here for sure. I would imagine that there's no way she's not bingoing. Plenty of spots with all those hooks. If she doesn't think about Voger, she'll definitely have something with Vogues going down here, and even stuff from the F can still play across. I guess it doesn't quite hit the double word score, but it gets pretty close. Frigates and things of that nature she's going to see. So we're going to get a bingo here to close, and this is going to be, she looks like she's headed towards a 3-0 record in her final games of the session, which is kind of funny.
Well, she did lose that last one.
Well, I mean the game 4, game 8,
okay,
and game 12.
She's every session with the win. Yeah.
Yes,
I see
right.
what you mean now. Yep.
Yeah, that's all. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's she's gonna be going up by a lot. Alan's gonna burn the S to get rid of his Q there.
Yep. Good way to neutralize the hook if you're concerned about that at all. But yeah, we're definitely going to see a bingo. The only question is where and what will she choose. And she's got 22 minutes on her clock to make that to make that choice. So,
I do wonder if they're both playing so fast, and especially with it being the game before lunch, you usually don't want to.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's a T and not an I. See, I screwed that up again.
Oh, I screwed it up because I wrote it wrong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was this.
All right, I'll blame you then.
Yeah, you can. I wrote it wrong. But the T's and I's are tough to tell apart because they are exactly identical until the top part of the tile. So that's a tough one. So.
No worries. If there was going to be a game for this to happen, this
I
This is a
think,
relatively non-competitive game,
I
at least so far.
yeah, I think she fixed it. If I'm
It's
not mistaken, maybe she fixed it. We'll see. I guess we'll
we'll
find
see.
out.
How many I's and T's are there's only 3 I's and 2 T's, 3 I's, 3 T's left, so
As bingos go, Strange is very hookable with a whole bunch of stuff. R, S. There probably were things she could have played like stagier that might have been slightly more defensive, even though you're getting the extra points for the G, putting it there. But at this score, she doesn't have to worry very much. She can probably just enjoy the rest of the game, knowing this one's gonna go her way.
yeah, kind of like there were a few 73s, 7 of them, 5 of them make Voger though, so assuming that she's not 100% on that, she could have done Strange or Storage as the highest scoring bingo. Storage being a little safer, does not take that. Our hook does not put that A right next to the triple there. Um, so yeah, also might be a spot where you kind of want to sacrifice the points. Um, but you're also ahead by enough that I also don't mind kind of just taking the highest scoring one and kind of putting your foot on the gas and trying to pile up spread here.
Yeah, I think there's, if I'm not mistaken, isn't this a word? Yeah, okay. So, Libkin. I think that's what she has here. That would be a very astounding find. It looks like we're going to see Alan get a bingo down, so his chances are Aureate. Okay, very nice. So that's a good play with the blank U. It does. Oh, wow. Look at that, though. Laureate, the hook. The L now is going to score a boatload if we can find a play right here, Jason. Something like Beal. If she knows Beal, that might be the best way to hammer the spot. I don't think the K is going to play there, but she just has to think about that, and she'll get a bunch of points here.
All right, sorry, I was looking at the other bingos with Strange, and then now I just got to go back. Put in Strange.
I'm sure
But
she's.
now we can look it out. I'll narrate blank. I couldn't understand why Aureate wasn't showing up. So like Aureate is a word, right? Yes.
Yes.
And that is the highest scoring bingo.
Yeah, it's a nice play.
And again, volatility. For someone who's behind by, as I update the score, 71.
Yeah.
2 L's out. No Zeals, unfortunately, but you could.
No.
You could use stuff there that got you back in this game for sure.
Why no Zeal?
Because oh no, the Z is out. Sorry. Let me look at what's Heidi's rack again. Sorry.
It's Binkles. Which actually has a Collins
Probably
word.
be better at this. Okay.
No, it's definitely there have been challenges this round, so no worries on that.
That's all right. No, but like the updating the rack.
There we go. So okay, so she sees it. Probably doesn't know the word Beal, which would do a little better to get the B on the double, but this is the right idea to spot that hook. And I do think Zeal was still possible. Yeah, there we go. So these just updated. So Zeal was something she had to worry about, which would have scored a massive number of points there. So you got to block it before Alan can get there. Makes a lot of sense. Good play for sure. Of course, you want to see
90,
that
90 for Zeal would have been Alan's ticket back into this game, and we certainly see Heidi take chances, and play phonies at times. Which in general is not good with the 5-point challenge, but this especially is a spot where play what you know, and just take that spot out. Don't be messing around with anything you're not 100% sure of there.
Yeah, totally agree. She has that K still, which she kept previously. It's going to help her score, and I don't think she has any 8-letter words here, but that's going to be fine. She's just going to be. Oh, yeah, I guess it could still be a T. Although, wait, I guess it could still be a T. Oh, wait, I think the T's are gone. Is that not true? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, never
No,
mind.
we have 2 T's yet. 2 T's left. So
2 left. Okay. All right, so we don't know yet. If it is a T, does she
right.
have anything good?
Does she have anything good if it's a T? Let's. If it's a T, she doesn't really have much if it's an I. If it's a T, she has tweak through the W in SWAT.
Oh yeah, that's kind of nice.
If it's an I think her best play was Oka off of Very.
This is
And the mystery
nice.
is she plays AKE down there.
Yeah, this is a good play. It does hook with a couple things where if she wanted to prevent that, she could tack on the T if she has it. So that makes me think maybe it's an I, or else she would. Maybe...
That's what I was just about to say. I've been talking a lot about leave inference and stuff like that. So I'm going to put this in as an I.
Oh, there's the Z after all. And then. Okay, he plays beach. These I's and T's are definitely the worst part of this. So could those be 2 I's? Is it possible one of them is a T? I just don't know. So I'm going to assume, let's say one of them's an I and one of them's a T. We'll hedge our bets.
That's true. We'll hedge our bets. All right, sounds good.
So...
And then we have a maximum of 1 wrong that way, too.
Exactly, well. Yes.
If you subscribe to the game theory of Maximin regret, so.
Which I'm sure that is a standard in this community, that we all know what that is. I definitely know what that is, by the way. Just kidding. No, I think I could probably suss it out. But,
yeah.
Kind
of use it more in poker than Scrabble. It's like where you kind of say, okay, would and I guess kind of when playing a phony though, it comes into play. Like, all right, like what's the bad thing that happens if I chicken out on this bingo versus what is the bad thing that happens if I put this phony on the board and it comes off. So
got it. Yeah, you actually mentioned it earlier when you said one of your opponents, I'm not sure, was it Chuck, said, or no, it was Jeff, saying, if you're making a hook on the board, you always have it, right? So that is definitely something that, given the game theory involved in Scrabble, that's like okay. It's okay to have that. In poker, you definitely don't want to be so predictable as your opponent to be able to say, oh, when they're betting big, they always have it, right? Like that's... Right. Ideally, you would not like to be quite so predictable. So Heidi playing off just her Z in the lower corner there.
Did you get rid of one of those 2 tiles to help us out? I guess not.
Yeah. Well, if it was a T, I would probably consider playing Zest there, potentially. Or maybe that empties the bag and she doesn't want to do that. So they're confirming the score now. Both players are...
That does kind of shade it a little bit more toward they might both be I's. That she didn't play Zest there.
Yeah.
Score is correct, by the way.
Nice.
Score is updated, so.
So yeah, we'll. I guess we'll find out in the end game potentially, but yeah, we'll. I think she's aware that sometimes this happens, and usually it's good, but we'll just. At lunch break, we'll see if there's an even better way to make everything stay in place for the full session. But Jason, we're almost at the tail end of your second session in the commentary booth. The challenges reading the tiles in this round aside, hopefully it's been a great experience. I've certainly enjoyed it, and we've gotten to watch a lot of really fun Scrabble together.
Yeah, at first I'd signed up to do quite a bit, and then kind of life getting in the way. I was asked to limit myself to these 2 sessions, but I've had so much fun. I was like, hey, if you want a break, or if you need a break, I know that you've got Muffin with Tentacles / Matthew Tunnicliffe coming in. I can't wait to hear him on commentary as well. But yeah, if you need me in a pinch, I should be around for you. So no, this has been a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing commentary, and many thanks to Heidi for coming up with the idea. et cetera. Not just that, but thinking of me and asking me to join in this weekend. It's very very grateful for her for that, and very grateful for you for all you've been doing to kind of put this idea into practice and into action. I think there's a lot of potential with it.
Well, thank you very much. But yeah, definitely a huge shout out to Heidi for all the work behind the scenes to get all this tech set up. And usually it's a lot of people doing this. It's just her by her lonesome on site with all of her equipment lugging to and fro. So I guess the same could be said of Josh Greenway of Let's Play Scrabble, who shows up to pretty much every tournament with giant tubs worth of equipment. So we've got some really highly motivated people, and I'm not really one of those people that shows up to the actual tournament with all the gear required. I definitely rely on other people to do that for me, and that's when I can sort of step in and do stuff like this on the more digital side. So in any case, very grateful to people that are grinding out at the venue to give us this great content. So, all right, what are we going to see here? Hopefully we see some I's or T's. All right, there we go. Ice. So what does this mean?
What does this mean?
She has, like, it looks like she has UESTION, like she spelled out question on her rack, right? Am I like that? That has to be.
I like it. I think that's the best bet, unless. Yeah, because she's about to play.
Oh, ho, ho, ho.
I forgot about that.
There's our answer.
That'll really pound up Fred. And that's a bingo out as well. Alan emptied the bag with that ice play. So
crazy bingoing from the queue to end the game. That's awesome. That answers our query, Jason. That answers our interrogation as to what she had on the rack. Our idle musings.
Only there was another word for that.
Yeah. If only. So very nice out bingo there to finish the game. That was pretty epic. And another seems like, again, like I said, the last game of the session, just crushing it. So there you go. Hard fought win, moving up to 5-7. She's talking to Alan after. He's going to drop to 3-9. And yeah, story of this game, Jason, has to be ganoids and unjoins, which definitely a bullet dodged right there. What a different game that is if he challenges both words instead of just ganoid. But unjoined, looking good enough for him to let it stay, and I kind of get it.
One of those like that, like air horn, which came up yesterday. Just one of those that he must have been basically 100% sure that was a word. What might not have even challenged it with free challenge. But yeah, very definitely swung this game and helped Heidi out a lot.
Yeah, that's one where I feel like, are we contractually obligated to tell her?
We're not contractually obligated to do anything, although she might want to know for the future. Like,
yeah, I think we have to tell her as she puts in the headphones.
We should, because she'll get a huge laugh out of it.
Yeah, I think I want to see the reaction. So, all right, Heidi, another. Well, hold on. Let me get your audio nice and high so that people can hear you so nice and loud and clear. Hopefully this is good.
No
oh,
unjoin.
What's that?
There's no unjoin.
Okay, that's what they're. Yeah, I think that's what they're saying. I thought there was.
okay. So Jason, Alan just came over and told her that, so we didn't even get to tell her my preamble. So all right.
Is no good?
Yeah, so we were just in agony waiting to see what the challenge was going to be, because he didn't challenge it when you played that word to open the game. So when you played ganoid, we definitely thought there was a chance he would challenge the valid word and not unjoins, and that's exactly what happened. And then you just crushed it for the rest of the game with a lot of really nice plays. So that was a big inflection point, which, sometimes you can get a break. You're allowed. And it happens, and then you bingo out to a Q.
I miss? Did I miss something better on Val? Like BL or something? I don't know.
Yeah,
There's-
Beal. Beal is actually a word, Beal. So that would have been slightly better, but that was absolutely the right idea because you have to see the L hook to laureate, and then block. He could have Zeal there for 100 odd points. So very good job by you to spot that. And even if you don't see Beal, playing Bal is a very solid option. Keeping your E helps a little bit with the leave. So yeah, that was definitely the right idea, and only the tiny tweak would have improved that. So that was a really good play. Oh, all right. I think there's some latency.
I felt that. I apologize for my last play. 'Cause he emptied the bag, and I'm like, oh, sorry.
No,
I'm
it's
going out now.
it's fine. Yeah, no, everything is good. The only thing I would say is that this was another game where we had a little bit of the issue reading the top part of the tiles. So just letting you know, we can probably get that fixed at lunch break. We were able to, do our best. I put on screen a little font with the extra rack tiles so that people could see them all the way. So it's all good. But yeah, the I's and the T's in particular were beguiling us a little bit in this game. But you answered our question as to what you had at the end of the game, pun intended.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it wasn't intended to rain on your parade or anything like that. It's been a lot of fun. Everybody is loving watching.
It's because there's no room, and I have my
Yeah.
phone propped it up on a little rack that's not staying in place.
Yeah, for sure. And there's no great solution. So yeah, you're juggling a ton. We are really grateful to be able to watch you play in all of these games, and everybody is just constant great vibes here in Twitch. So very, very supportive group over here. And now you're 3-0 in the final games of each session. So you've won round 4, 8, and 12 in emphatic fashion, and now you get to go enjoy your breaks off of another win.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, you guys. Thanks, everybody. I guess we'll see you back here at 3.
Yeah, it feels like the lunch break is even longer today. I guess you must have started in a timely fashion and you finished that game really fast because we have 2 hours until the next round, apparently. So, that sounds good. So we'll be back in 2 hours. Jason we were talking about, Jason was giving you huge props, and just to translate again, because we can't hear each other, was very grateful that you gave him the opportunity to come do some commentary on the stream, and I'm sure you'll get a chance to chat with him after, but he had many wonderful things to say about you, and just want to make sure that you're aware of that before you go on your lunch break. So
I can hear Jason. He just can't hear me.
Oh yeah, that's right. Jason, so Heidi can hear you, but you can't hear her. So you can actually speak to her now. Yes.
Okay. No, I just wanted to again thank you for the opportunity. Had a lot of fun doing this, and it was great to watch you play.
She's typing.
So I might have to repeat that, but
No, it's just latency. It's latency.
Okay.
She definitely is hearing it.
You're right.
Is he watching? He's not watching the Twitch chat?
He's watching the live feed that I'm sharing with him on a Zoom call, so he can hear a lot, but not you. So that's just we'll figure that out for another time. But in any case,
But he can't see what I just typed.
oh, maybe not. Yeah. So Jason, Heidi put in a nice message for you in the Twitch chat there. I'm not sure if you have it.
Okay, I will see it momentarily then.
Cool. All right. Well, it's lunchtime. Let's let everybody go get some break, and we'll be back in a couple hours. Brian Garnett will be back in the booth with me for the 4 games. And yeah, great fun here. Thank you so much to everybody watching. Not sure if anyone's come over from my YouTube channel. If so, thank you so much. We'll be back in 2 hours for rounds 13 through 17 from Niagara Falls, watching Heroin to Birds, Heidi Robertson. So, all right. See you later, everybody.